Chapter 1044 Appearance of the Truth Fall Palace. Chapter 1044 Appearance of the Truth Fall Palace. At the same time, Yemo had to think about things. If Yu Baixing couldn't keep the bitter bamboo alive, it didn't mean he couldn't. He had the book thing, and knew bitter bamboo very well. Thank you, Qian Bei, for giving me another chance at life. Qian Ping will remember this forever. The female cultivator got up and put away the pill before leaving and squatting at one corner of the hall. For the next few days, it was very boring. Yi Mo didn't even take out the map to look at. He just sat in one corner, meditating while thinking about how to find Fu Rong and place a spirit sense mark on him. 6 days later, the huge ship stopped at the peak of a mountain. Yi Mo followed the solo cultivators out of the ship and scanned out with his spirit sense like everyone else. He found that this place seemed extremely similar to the peak of the magical continent mountain. This mountaintop was very flat and smooth, with an area of a few hundred kilometers squared. There was a huge sacrificial altar in the middle, but it was empty. Yi Mo felt strange. There was no teleportation formation nor some truth fall palace. But Yi Mo didn't ask anyone. He knew that many people didn't know anything just like him. He just needed to stand here and wait for news. As expected, Yi Mo didn't wait long before a disaster, transformation state, tertiary stage, cultivator flew out. He stood in midair and scanned the thousands of cultivators waiting to enter the Truthfall Palace and said loudly, "The Truthfall Palace opens again. Theoretically, any cultivator on Luoyu continent younger than 100 years can go in regardless of where they're from. However, due to limited spots and the level of danger, there are limited spots for Luoyu continent's 4 states and the Heartless Sea. Our South Peace State is the head of the 4 states and always has the most people going in." The cultivator paused and continued, "So I want you guys to be getting the most benefit out of it too. The people going in the Truthfall Palace are mostly the elite sect members of sections. Although there are countless treasures inside, if you don't even keep your life, nothing is worth it. Stay alive and you'll have the chance to reach the peak. Even the immortal realm is not just a dream." When the disaster, transformation state, cultivator spoke about the immortal realm, his tone was clearly excited. Those cultivators listening were more excited. Ascending into the immortal realm was every cultivator's dream, every powerful being in the cultivation realm's dream. Although Luoyu continent previously always had people ascending into the immortal realm, leaving behind countless blood-boiling stories, in the recent millennium, no one has ascended into the immortal realm. The disaster transformation state said after the excitement, "The Truthfall Palace has 9 levels. Each level has extreme quality things. Those cultivators who can reach higher than level 5 will have unexpected acquirements. But I need to remind everyone, assess your ability before you go." He didn't say anything about avoiding killing, nor anything about forgiveness. Clearly, it meant that as long as you had the power, you could do whatever you wanted in the Truthfall Palace. However, the cultivator didn't mention anything about going in the Truthfall Palace, but no one asked, so Yi Mo didn't either. A few thousand cultivators waited at the top of the mountain. Many cultivators started scanning their spirit senses around however they liked. Yi Mo didn't hold back either. The first thing his spirit sense noticed was the Earth Demon sect. That female cultivator didn't lie. Yi Mo soon found Fu Rong. He also wore a stealth mask spirit artifact. If Yi Mo didn't look for him specifically, he wouldn't be able to find this guy. His chi had changed, and it was now at nascent soul state level 1. He probably ate that Chao Huan pill. Yi Mo knew that in this case, he wouldn't be able to put a spirit sense mark on Fu Rong. The cultivators started discussing about forming teams and squads. They didn't seem worried about going in at all. They probably knew how to get in, but Yi Mo didn't. 6 hours quickly passed, and just when Yi Mo was getting anxious waiting and wanted to ask, the sacrificial altar suddenly lit up with countless vibrant colors. After a rumble, the rays grew even brighter. Yi Mo found that he couldn't see what was going on, nor could he scan his spirit sense inside the light. Did the Truth Fall Palace appear? Yi Mo saw that all the cultivators started to look at the bright place. The rumbling sounded for 15 minutes before gradually calming. The bright ray also slowly disappeared. Meanwhile, that disaster transformation state cultivator came out again. The Truth Fall Palace is open. Please go in now. Don't all rush in together. We'll start with the 9-star sects. Yi Mo saw a tall palace tower that soared into the clouds appear before him. It looked very ordinary and seemed old. There was a round light pillar in front of it, but no door. This was the Truthfall Palace? Yi Mo was shocked to find that when he reached his spirit sense out to the Truthfall Palace, he couldn't send it left nor right. He couldn't even see what was behind the Truthfall Palace. He then subconsciously scanned the top, but was shocked to find he couldn't even see it either. Thinking that all the cultivators in Luo Yu continent could go, Yi Mo began to wonder, did the tower appear like this at the other states as well? But now there were people going towards the Truthfall Palace already. Yi Mo found that any cultivator who walked inside the light pillar was teleported away. Yi Mo was shook if this was a teleportation formation. It was of a far too high level. Yi Mo and Gu Wei was with 7-star sect Green Pill sect, so when it was the Green Pill sect's turn, Yi Mo followed behind them. When Yi Mo walked into the light pillar, he felt his body become lighter and a feeling of dizziness. It seemed to last for both a very short and very long time. When he woke up, he was in a huge square. This was definitely a super long distance teleportation. With his current spirit sense power, even if he teleported from the North Far state to the South Peace state, he wouldn't feel dizzy. There seemed to be a void around the square. When he scanned his spirit sense inside, it felt like throwing mud into the sea. Although more and more people appeared, no one left to go into the void. Yi Mo didn't understand the Truthfall Palace at all, so he didn't move upon seeing that no one else did anything. In a short while, no more cultivators came in. Clearly, everyone had already arrived. Yi Mo found that Fu Rong was amongst the Earth Demons sect members. He couldn't go up to mark him with spirit sense. It seemed he could only find another way later. At this moment, Yi Mo found that the void started to dissipate. He could now scan his spirit sense inside. Those big sect members started to form squads at the square. So did the solo cultivators. They formed squads based on power levels. They were all quite similar, and there were usually about 4 to 6 cultivators in a squad. The few Hollow Spirit State cultivators also formed a Hollow Spirit State squad and left the square. Yi Mo was now nascent Soul State level 1, so there were a lot of cultivators asking him to form a squad, but he rejected them all. Since he needed to find the bitter bamboo, it would be inconvenient. Gu Wei formed a squad with some golden core state level 8s and left the square. There were less and less people remaining in the square. Yi Mo wanted to wait longer, but he saw that when Tsai and Ling Xiaoshuang were still here and didn't want to wait anymore. If he left last, then he would be noticed. Thinking about this, Yi Mo dashed out and immediately left. After he left, he realized the place he came to was a big grassy plain. But when he scanned the square with his spirit sense, it was still the void. As time went on, the void disappeared. Yi Mo exclaimed, "Such a powerful formation. Did that cultivator leave by himself?" The remaining cultivators noticed. "So introverted," someone said. When Tsai frowned, she had stayed to see if there would be any strange cultivators, and now she actually did see one. Yi Mo left fast, but his back seemed familiar. She sneered. She was sure that it was the guy who insulted her. Chapter 1045. Forming a Squad with Nuns. Chapter 1045. Forming a squad with nuns, there was only Yi Mo on this grassy plain. He took out the map the female cultivator gave him. It was very precise, but it didn't tell him which level the bitter bamboo was at. This made Yi Mo very annoyed. To him, even if he only got the bitter bamboo in here, he would be very successful. But Yi Mo had more to worry about. He didn't even know where to go to ascend to the second floor. It seemed he could only check the area level by level. As long as he found the places described on the map, he would be able to find the bitter bamboo. It was hard, but for the bitter bamboo it was worth it. Understanding this, Yi Mo took out his flying ship. There were a lot of low-level spirit herbs on the first level, but before he found the bitter bamboo, he really didn't have the mood to dig them up. Just when Yi Mo felt amazed at the spirit chi density here, he felt his flying ship suddenly lower as though some force was pulling it down. Yi Mo was shocked and immediately took out Zisu while putting away the flying ship. Zisu was Yi Mo's attack magic artifact. His control of Zisu was far better than the flying ship. The suction force was powerful, but after he got on Zisu, he instantly broke free from the suction force. He turned back and looked with his spirit sense. It was a swamp. There are some broken magic artifact pieces on the top. It was clear that a lot of cultivators had died here. There really were lethal traps everywhere in the Truthfall Palace. As he was thinking about this, Yi Mo suddenly heard a howl of pain. Yi Mo reached out with his spirit sense immediately. He thought someone was accidentally sucked in, but what he saw was a golden core state cultivator being ripped to pieces in midair. Yi Mo was scared quite a bit. There was space disposition here. You couldn't fly. This was too unfortunate. If he didn't see a cultivator getting ripped apart by the chaotic flow of space, he might have become the next victim. Yi Mo didn't dare to stay in the air anymore. He landed, and as soon as he did, for female cultivators came. 3 of them were dressed like nuns. When Yi Mo found the mark of clear dream mosque on their sleeves, he subconsciously wanted to run. But soon he found that Ling Xiaoshuang wasn't present. There were 2 golden core state peak stage, 1 nascent soul state level 1, and 1 nascent soul state level 2 cultivators. Just when Yi Mo wanted to ask how to get to the 2nd floor, one round-faced nun walked up to Yi Mo and said, "Martial brother, you can't fly in Truthfall Palace. There are spatial wind blades in the air." It wasn't due to special chaos flow nor special disposition. This made Yi Mo relax. Special wind blades were powerful, but not enough to take his life. The other 2 were a different story. Even body condensation state cultivators would die. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't seem to care, the nun said again, "Martial brother, you can't not care about them. Even hollow spirit state cultivators might not be able to dodge them, much less us golden core state and nascent soul state cultivators." Yi Mo looked at this golden core state peak stage round face girl and had a good impression of her. He saluted with his fists and said, "Thank you for your reminder, martial sister. I'm a solo cultivator and don't know these things. If you didn't remind me, I might not even know how I would die." The round-faced nun smiled. "Martial brother, you're too polite. We've been briefed by our masters before we came in. It's normal that a solo cultivator wouldn't know." Due to this, Yi Mo's bad impression of Clear Dream Mosque greatly diminished. "Are you by yourself? You need to form a squad in here. Otherwise, if you see the 4-direction kill formation, you won't be able to run. We're from the Clear Dream Mosque. How about you stay with us for now?" The round-faced nun clearly had a good heart. "Qingyi, what are you on about? Let's go. We need to meet up with the martial sisters above," the tallest, pretty-looking nun said unhappily. Qingyi turned back and said, "Martial sister Qinghan, he's by himself. If he keeps going, he might lose his life before he gets to the 2nd level." The tall nun didn't say anything after this. Qingyi smiled sweetly to Yi Mo. "My martial sisters are very nice. We have a map. There aren't many good things on the 1st level. You might as well come with us to the 2nd level." Yi Mo wanted to reject initially. Although he didn't know what the 4-direction formation was, he believed he would be able to deal with it with his formation skills. But when Qingyi said they had a map, he was interested. Yi Mo wanted to ask them to copy the map to him. But thinking that it wasn't even sold in the Truthfall City, it must be really precious, so he didn't ask. Yi Mo quickly said, "Okay, thank you, martial sister Qingyi. I'm Ning Xiaoma. I was troubled with not being able to get to the 2nd level. I'm really grateful to go with you guys. Qingyi smiled and introduced Yimo to her other martial sisters. The tall, pretty nun was Qinghan. She was the strongest at nascent soul state level 2. The shy-looking nun was called Qingyue and was nascent soul state level 1. And the one girl who didn't wear nun clothes but instead wore a purple dress was called Xiayushan. The female cultivators from Clear Dream Mosque were all very cultured. Yimo felt that Qinghan didn't really like him joining. But when he came, she didn't show any bad emotions. At the start, they didn't talk much because they didn't know who Yimo was and he was a guy. But soon, they found that Yimo only followed them from far behind and didn't speak. Each time there were spirit beasts, he would help but never ask to share the loot. However, he wouldn't reject the loot given to him. This way, Yimo soon got a good impression from the 4 female cultivators. Besides Qingyi always talking to Yimo, Xiayushan began to speak with him as well. Because Yimo showed nascent soul state level 1 power, Xiayushan sometimes asked about cultivation, but she soon found that Yimo gave her answers easier to understand than her master. His words were truly golden. Xiayushan asked Yimo all sorts of questions realizing this, and eventually Qingyi also came to ask Yimo questions. Even Qinghan and Qingyue greatly approved of Yimo, and Qingyue began to ask Yimo about cultivation. Yimo now felt that he had showed off too much. It was fine if he could answer questions for golden core state cultivators, but for nascent soul state cultivators as well, this wasn't normal. So, for Qingyue's questions, he just thought for a while and said he didn't really understand. Soon, they came to the entrance of the 2nd level. It was a stairway whose end couldn't be seen with spirit sense. There were a lot of cultivators gathered here, but most belonged to sections. Yimo knew that these sect cultivators must also have maps. Solo cultivators didn't have maps, and thus would take much longer to reach here. Seeing Yimo, a guy cultivator with the nuns of Clear Dream Mosque, many cultivators seemed surprised, but no one spoke. Clear Dream Mosque was a 9-star sect. Martial Brother Xiaoma. Each level of the Truthful Palace has a stairway like this. Although your eyes and spirit sense can't see the end, this stairway isn't actually very long. From level 1 to level 2, there are 222 stairs. Each stair has a greater resistance force than the previous one. Once you feel you can't go up further, you must not force it or you might be ripped apart by the stairway. Qingyi explained. Yimo rejoiced. Luckily, someone reminded him. If he tried to force his way up, he might really be ripped apart. Qinghan walked up first. Yimo went last. Indeed, after each stair he went up, he felt greater pressure. But from level 1 to level 2, it was fine for ordinary golden core state cultivators, much less Yimo. At the 2nd level, Yimo felt the spirit chi here was denser than level 1. Yimo realized why Yu Baixing placed the bitter bamboo here. I see seasoned wheat. Xiao Yushan screamed. Seasoned wheat was one of the 3 main ingredients for the hollow meridian pill. This was only the 2nd level, but was already found. Wait. Yimo suddenly called out, stopping Qingyi, who was about to charge up. Chapter 1046. Trap? Chapter 1046. Trap. What's wrong, Martial Brother Xiaoma? Qingyi stopped and asked. Yimo hadn't been with them for long, but he knew a lot. Whenever there was a problem, Martial Brother Xiaoma would be right about it. Even Qinghan and Qingyue looked at Yimo in confusion. The seasoned wheat was very precious to nascent soul state cultivators, but they'd been with Yimo for a while. They all believed that Yimo wasn't someone who would want to take the seasoned wheat for himself. Yimo signaled for Qingyi to take a few steps back and then pointed at the seasoned wheat, saying, "Scan that with your spirit sense." The earth next to it seems to have been disturbed and then covered with grass. This means that not long ago, someone dug away a spirit herb next to the seasoned wheat. The nuns understood without Yimo needing to explain. Since the spirit herb next to the season wheat was gone, there was no reason for the season wheat to remain. The strongest powered cultivator here was hollow spirit state, and the season wheat was precious to them as well. There was no way someone wouldn't want to take it. Understanding this, the female cultivators looked at Yi Mo in admiration. Which normal nascent soul state cultivator would scan the earth around the season wheat after seeing it? And if I'm not wrong, the spirit herb that was dug away is also another season wheat. If this person can take away one, why did he leave the second one? Yi Mo continued to explain. Xia Yushan quickly asked, Martial brother Xiaoma, how do you know that the other herb was season wheat? Yi Mo smiled. Most pill masters know that season wheat appears in pairs. A single plant can't survive alone. Yi Mo was contemptuous in his heart at the guy who laid the trap. There was one thing that Yi Mo didn't say. Many people in the cultivation realm thought of the season wheat wrongly. They only knew that it could be used to concoct the hollow meridian pill, but rarely did they know that season wheat was actually two spirit herbs. One was season, the other was wheat. The two could both be used to concoct the hollow meridian pill, but both also had another important use. If both herbs were used, it could be made into the season wheat pill. Season wheat pills could be used to repair cultivators' dantians. Dantian repair pills were very rare. They usually required level 9 or level 10 spirit herbs. But the level 7 spirit herb season wheat could also repair dantian. This repair didn't mean mending Chungnana's uncultivated and simply broken dantian. That condition could be cured by many other herbs in the cultivation realm. The season wheat pill could truly repair cultivators' dantians. If he could concoct a few season wheat pills, Yi Mo believed they would be worth a fortune. Martial brother Xiaoma, are you a pill master too? Xia Yushan looked at Yi Mo in admiration. Yi Mo said awkwardly, I'm not. But he said in his heart, I'm a pill king. Oh. Xia Yushan seemed a little disappointed. Martial brother Xiaoma, do you mean that someone has laid a trap here? But I don't see any trap. It all seems normal? Qingyi asked. There really does seem to be a problem. Qing Han looked around and frowned. Yi Mo nodded. You're right, someone set a trap here. Wait, I'll show you one. Yi Mo casually took out a few formation flags and threw them out. Soon, a trap formation appeared around the season wheat with 3 nascent soul state cultivators around it. If Qingyi and the others went to dig it up, they would be trapped there. There was 1 nascent soul state level 5 and 2 nascent soul state level 3 cultivators. If they ambushed them when they were trapped, Qingyi and them wouldn't be able to get away. Understanding this, Qing Han's face turned frosty. Their sect was easy to talk to, but that didn't mean they liked being ambushed. Yi Mo knew that although this was a level 3 trap formation, the stealth formation disc he just broke was a level 6 one. Otherwise, Qing Han and them would have found out. Well, punk, so you know formations. You could even find a level 6 stealth formation disc in a short amount of time. I really couldn't tell, the nascent soul state level 5 said. Yi Mo sneered, trying to trick a level 5 formation master with a mere level 6 stealth formation disc? Even nascent soul state cultivators who didn't know about formations would be able to see through it if they were careful. Seeing the 3 ready to ambush them, Qing Han was full of anger. Without a thought, she released a flying sword and charged out. Yi Mo was speechless. He thought Qing Han was the leader of the squad and should be more reasonable than the others. But she was actually more impulsive than anyone. Although he didn't know how powerful they were, Yi Mo could tell from the qi that the nascent soul state level 5 was far stronger than Qing Han. The other 2 nascent soul state level 3s weren't people Qing Yue could beat either. Yi Mo was really stuck. If he was by himself, he would kill the 3 without hesitation. But if he killed the 3 easily, he would be doubted by the nuns. Qing Han's flying sword clashed with the fire-red sword spirit artifact of the nascent soul state, level 5. Qing Han's flying sword brought 3 rays of white light that turned into 3 intense sword rays, seeping with killing intent. The 3 sword rays enveloped the nascent soul state, level 5. 2 sealed off his escape, while the last pierced at his dantian. With a clank, the 3 white rays were dispersed, while the red sword hacked out a 10-meter-long sword shape. The sword fire was many times stronger than the sword rays. Before the fire even reached Ching Han, she felt that soul-burning heat. The closer the sword fire came, the harder she felt it was to move. Even if she was to release her defensive magic artifact or take back her flying sword, there was no time. She could only forcefully set up a cultivation essence barrier, but that cultivation essence clearly couldn't stop the sword fire. After some sizzling, the sword fire hacked open the cultivation essence wall. The fire didn't weaken much, but Ching Han spat blood. She was about to be hit head-on by the sword fire. Yi Mo saw that Qing Wei still hadn't reacted and sighed. The nun's battle experience was too weak. Even though Qing Han wasn't as strong as the nascent soul state level 5, she shouldn't be spitting blood on the first round. What was the point of Clear Dream Mosque sending these inexperienced cultivators out? But Yi Mo immediately understood. It was to put them through trials of blood. Sometimes, too good of a talent wasn't necessarily enough. It meant you cultivated fast but didn't experience much. Yi Mo wasn't going to watch them kill Qing Han. He took out a flying sword and then hacked out. He was tens of meters from the sword fire, but once he finished his move, he clashed with the sword fire. Yi Mo flew into the sword fire, and with a thud it disappeared. Yi Mo was in front of the nascent soul, level 5. Chapter 1047, Hostage. Chapter 1047. Hostage. That nascent soul state level 5 saw that Yi Mo hacked his sword through his sword fire and was dazed. After all, he was nascent soul state level 5 and Yi Mo was only nascent soul state level 1. Was this luck, or did this person really have such power? Qing Han was dazed too. Yi Mo's superficial power level was weaker than hers, and even she almost got hit. How did Yi Mo break it? But soon, Qing Han realized that regardless, they were no match for the 3 despite having the advantage in numbers. Understanding this, Qing Han yelled, "Who are you? How dare you ambush people from the Clear Dream Mosque?" Yi Mo knew what Qing Han meant. If she called out the name of her sect, usually people wouldn't choose to start a conflict with 9-star sect members. But Yi Mo knew that it was pointless to say this now. These people weren't blind. Could they not see their Clear Dream Mosque's mark? Qing Wei and the others understood and released their magic artifacts. What is Clear Dream Mosque? You think you little nuns and a punk can fight us? That nascent soul state, level 5 sneered. You're not from South Peace State. You're the beast cultivators from Heartless Sea. Qing Han said in shock. If they were from the South Peace State, they wouldn't dare to be so rude to the Clear Dream Mosque disciples. Yi Mo didn't speak. He knew that these people weren't beast cultivators. Beast cultivators were spirit beasts who morphed into human form through illusion form pills. He could see through that easily. Also, a beast cultivator needed to go through form tribulation before he could attain a human form. That was about the equivalent of disaster transformation state level. Otherwise, he could only use an illusion form pill, but usually that meant one couldn't hide their beast chi. There was also another pill called morph form pill that morphed the beast cultivator completely, but even that required level 8 or higher beasts. The 3 didn't have any beast chi at all. Clearly, they were human cultivators. The nascent soul state level 5 sneered and didn't answer Qing Han's words. He just said, "Leave behind your storage rings and go, I won't harm you." Then he looked at Yi Mo. Clearly, he felt a little concerned with Yi Mo stopping his sword fire. If it wasn't that they were unsure of Yi Mo's power, they would have attacked already. Yi Mo sneered. He had gone through too many schemes and battles. This nascent soul state, level 5, clearly didn't mean what he said. Perhaps as soon as they handed out their storage rings, they would attack. Keep dreaming. Qingyue looked shy, but when she got angry, she wasn't hesitant at all. She released a lotus-shaped magic artifact and was about to charge up. Qinghan stopped her. She had fought with them and knew that if they fought, her side was no match for them. Their power was much higher, and they weren't ordinary cultivators. We need to discuss about handing over our storage rings, Yemo said to the nascent soul state level 5 cultivator, and then spoke telepathically to Qinghan. Martial sister Qinghan, take the other martial sisters and go first. Leave it to me here. I will persuade them to not chase you, Yemo said. The nascent soul state level 5 sneered and agreed. How can we do that? Qinghan immediately refused. Yemo knew that they were inexperienced, but not people to leave friends behind, so Yemo immediately told her, I will delay them and persuade them not to chase you. When you guys get out, I have a small transmission rune to use for escape. You guys go first, I can escape for sure. Qinghan looked at Yemo in shock. The small transmission rune wasn't very special, but it wasn't something any nascent soul state cultivator could obtain. It was enough to escape the range of their spirit sense. Clearly, Ning Xiaoma didn't lie about being able to escape. Qingyi and Xiaoyushan asked Yemo a lot of questions and worried about him the most. Seeing their worried eyes, Yemo felt warm at heart. He knew it was now time to ask them for the map. Just when he wanted to ask for it from Qinghan, he heard the nascent soul state level 5 sneer, Are you done? If you don't want to hand me the storage rings, we will attack. The nascent soul state level 5 didn't want to drag it out too long. Yemo thought that these 3 cultivators clearly weren't ordinary people. Since Qinghan and the others had a map, it meant that they had one too. He didn't need to ask for the map. Thinking about this, he smiled and walked towards the nascent soul state level 5. The nascent soul state level 5 took a step back instinctively, but soon he realized his reaction wasn't right and took a step forward. But Yemo stopped and waved his hand. A pale yellow flame appeared that had some milk-white mist around it. Snow essence flame, the nascent soul state level 5 called out in shock. The 2 other cultivators were also shocked. They didn't expect a nascent soul state level 1 to have a rare flame, especially one that was ranked very high in the cultivation realm. Snow essence flame was ranked 15th amongst the rare flames of the cultivation realm. It was a pure water element flame. Extreme fervor burst from the nascent soul state level 5's eyes and from those of his 2 friends. Even Qinghan and the others were shocked. Snow essence flame wasn't ordinary. They didn't expect Yemo, a solo cultivator, to have it. Even core disciples of pill sects didn't have it. Qinghan didn't expect Ning Xiaoma to use this to make the 3 give up on hunting them. But indeed, whoever saw this would give up other things. Seeing that they were about to attack, Yemo smiled. This fire is already spirit controlled by me. If I want to, it will immediately extinguish and disappear from the world. What do you want? The nascent soul state level 5 stared desperately at the flame. He already considered the flame to be his. Yemo smiled. Let the 4 go. I will be your hostage. You can keep me here. Okay, I'll let them go. The nascent soul state level 5 agreed without thinking. He waved his hand and the cultivators captured Yemo. One nascent soul state level 3 even started setting up a trap formation. Martial sister Qingyi, you guys go first. I'll come back soon, Yemo smiled and said. Okay, martial brother Xiaoma, take care. Qingyi, Qingyue, Yushan, let's go, Qinghan said. Martial brother Xiaoma, you must come find us. We'll be waiting for you. Qingyi knew that it was pointless to stay here with their power. The 4 girls immediately left while the 3 nascent soul state cultivators just stared at Yemo's flame, not saying anything. After 7 minutes, that nascent soul state level 3 cultivator suddenly said, Those pretty nuns are far gone. You can give us the snow essence flame now. This way, you can go meet up with them early. Yemo suddenly smiled and nodded. That's right, but I know what you really want to say. Your trap formation is ready. You can attack, right? Then, Yemo put away the snow essence flame. Seeing this, the nascent soul state level 5 said, "Attack! Don't let him bring it out again." Chapter 1048, Minding Others' Business. Chapter 1048, Minding Others' Business. Chingy and the nuns were gone. Yemo had no concerns now and released Zisu. Illusion Cloud Division. Sword brought out a cascade of sword rays. The nascent soul state who was setting up the formation found that Yemo wasn't trapped in his formation at all. He was very surprised, but countless purple sword rays had already swept towards him. When he released his own magic artifact, it only managed to block a few purple sword rays before being pulverized by the countless others. Seeing that Yemo had instantly killed a nascent soul state level 3 cultivator on his side, the nascent soul state level 5 immediately realized that he had been hiding his power. He immediately yelled to other cultivators, "Attack with full power. This person is at least nascent soul state tertiary stage." Before he finished, Yemo hacked Zisu over at him. At the same time, Yemo let out Shadowless. Yemo's cultivation essence and spirit sense was already stronger than that nascent soul state level 5. With Shadowless ambushing him, the nascent soul state level 5 could only block one strike from Yemo before he had his nascent soul enveloped by Shadowless. The next moment, he felt his spirit sense hurt and was killed by Yemo. Yemo wanted to finish the battle as quickly as possible, so of course he would attack with full power. The remaining nascent soul state level 3 saw that Yemo had instantly killed 2 of his friends who were stronger than him and was scared witless. He didn't dare to fight Yemo at all and released his magic artifact, turning to flee. However, there was no way was Yemo going to let him escape. He didn't even take back Zisu and used Illusion Cloud Whirlpool Strike. That nascent soul state level 3 immediately knew things weren't good. The next moment, he was dismembered. Yemo put away Zisu and Shadowless and quickly picked up 3 storage rings. He quickly dug out the seasoned wheat and immediately disappeared. Marshall's sister, will Marshall brother Shama be okay? Why hasn't he met up with us yet? The nuns had already run for 10,000 miles, and Chingy couldn't help asking this question. Qinghan fell silent for a moment and said, "He has a small transmission rune. Technically, he should be able to get away even if he can't beat them." Even though she said this, Qinghan felt guilty. She knew that when they left, those people were already setting up a trap formation. As for whether or not a small transmission rune could get out of a level 3 trap formation, she wasn't too sure. She could only meet her Marshall sisters and ask. If she was by herself, she definitely wouldn't have left, but she still had 3 younger Marshall sisters with her. She was told by the big Marshall sister and her master that she needed to take care of the younger Marshall sisters. She was very grateful to that Ning Xiaoma that they wouldn't be raped. The group fell into silence. At this moment, at an ordinary location next to the Truthfall Palace, Yemo went into the Golden Page world. He took out the 3 nascent soul state cultivator storage rings. There weren't a lot of spirit stones in there. The 3 combined only had less than 5 million, but there were quite a few spirit herbs. Most were level 4 and level 5 with a few above that. Yemo immediately found the seasoned wheat amongst them. He took the 2 plants out and put them together before carefully planting them inside his Golden Page world. The 3 storage rings didn't disappoint Yemo. He found 3 copies of the same map. It mapped Truthfall Palace from level 1 to level 6, but there was nothing above that. The map was also very precise. He found that there was an ordinary stony beach on level 3 that looked exactly like the map the female cultivator gave him. Yemo suppressed his excitement. This ordinary place was just the kind of place Baixing Qian Bei liked to set up his stealth formation. He put away the map and wanted to go level 3 immediately. As for the rest of the things, he just casually organized them. There were 2 extreme grade spirit artifacts, a few sect jade cards. The jade cards had the name of a sect from the West Mass state. Yemo couldn't even be bothered looking at it and destroyed them. The three had a good plan to rob others, but were unlucky and ultimately lost their lives to Yemo. After knowing the location of the bitter bamboo, Yemo left the Golden Page world and found his direction heading towards level 3. There were 333 stairs from level 2 to level 3. Yemo came a little early and there were only a few people. But Yemo didn't care. He wanted the bitter bamboo and quickly rushed up the stairs. Before the people on level 2 could react, Yemo had already disappeared from the stairway. He was only one person and he went up as soon as he came. The people watching this glanced at each other and also went to climb the stairs. They believed that since the cultivator was desperate to go to level 3, there must be something good there. Soon, there were no more cultivators at the entrance to level 3. Those who could come here were elite sect members, so 333 stairs weren't hard for them. Yemo didn't go far, and he noticed some fighting cultivation essence waves. Yemo didn't want to go look and just scanned the area casually. When he saw that it was one man and woman fighting, he immediately changed directions and headed to the battleground. There were 2 cultivators watching from the side. The male cultivator, who was Golden Core State, level 9, had the lower hand. The 2 male cultivators watching were probably on the side of the female cultivator. They were watching and pointing fingers at the Golden Core State, level 9, in contempt. The reason Yemo rushed over was because he knew the male cultivator. It was Guachi Fan, who he met at the desert herb plain. He and his martial sister led the way for Yemo, and Yemo had given them a few pills. Guachi Fan was Golden Core State level 9, now clearly due to the pills he had given them. Yemo was nascent soul state power and showed it to be nascent soul state level 1. As soon as he came, everyone noticed. They stopped fighting, and Guachi Fan saluted with his fists, showing his respect for a nascent soul state, Qianbei. Guachi Fan immediately ate a pill as he was injured. The female cultivator and her 2 friends didn't show much respect to Yemo and just retreated a little, clearly waiting for Yemo to go away first before they could continue attacking Guachi Fan. But what they didn't expect was that this nascent soul state didn't plan to leave. Yemo asked coldly, "Why are you guys fighting?" The Golden Core State peak stage female cultivator and her friends were dazed, not expecting there to be a nascent soul state who didn't mind his own business. Guachi Fan also looked at Yemo in surprise, but he realized Yemo seemed to lean towards his side. "Qianbei, we have some conflict with this person." The female cultivator finally showed some respect for Yemo. Yemo didn't seem to hear this and looked at Guachi Fan. "Why are you guys fighting?" Guachi Fan was much more respectful than them. He said, "My 2 friends and I found 2 crisp green vines here. They came here later and saw them too. There was a level 6 red back wolf guarding it, so we decided to attack it together and split half the crisp green vines. However, this red back wolf was very strong and killed my 2 sect members. They've lost someone too, but we eventually killed the wolf together." Guachi Fan pointed at the female cultivator and said she said her friend died to the wolf, so they want both of the crisp green vines. "Are my sect members not dead too?" I tried to reason with them, but she attacked me without hesitation. Yemo just noticed that the female cultivator and her 2 friends had a star symbol on their clothes. Seeing Yemo looked at it, Guachi Fan said, "They're from Heaven Star Sect. So people from the 8 Star Sect can rob whoever they like?" "Heaven Star Sect?" Yemo suddenly asked. "Pandai from the 10 Beauties is from your sect?" Chapter 1049. This person is called Ning Xiaoma. Chapter 1049. This person is called Ning Xiaoma. Hearing this, the female cultivator showed a contemptuous look. With Yemo's appearance, he still dares to hit on Marshall's sister Pandai? But she said, pridefully, "That's right, Marshall's sister Pandai is from our Heaven Star sect." Guo had decided to not take the crisp green vine. His cultivation cauldron sect was only a 5-star sect. It wasn't good for him to ask for things from members of an 8-star sect. It might even negatively affect his sect. Where is the crisp green vine? Yemo asked. The three just remembered that Yemo was a nascent soul state cultivator. Even though they didn't have to care about nascent soul state cultivators, this place was the Truth Fall Palace. They didn't know who Yemo was as well. If Yemo wanted to kill them, they would lose their lives here. Understanding this, the female cultivator and her 2 friends looked uncomfortable. They clearly thought that Yemo wanted to take the crisp green vine. Yemo wasn't going to care about the crisp green vine, he had too many. It's here. The female cultivator hesitated and said. Usually, solo cultivators were like insects to her, but now it was a different situation. Yemo's voice turned cold. Give me the crisp green vine and piss off. Marshall's sister, you. Give it to him and let's go. The male cultivator could tell that Yemo didn't care about the Heaven Star sect. He knew that if things continued, they would suffer, and this nascent soul state cultivator might even kill them all in his fury. They just needed to give the things to Yemo now, and when they met their own sect members, they would get revenge. Marshall's sister Yu was unsatisfied, but was still prepared to take out the crisp green vine. But before she did anything, a huge firework was set off from the northwest side. A few more colors arose from different fireworks. It's the sect calling for a gathering. The female cultivator said in shock and even forgot to take out the crisp green vine before she just sped off. The 2 male cultivators followed too. Yemo didn't get angry though. He also looked at the fireworks in a daze. The different colors represented different sections. What worried him was that it was the place where the bitter bamboo was marked. Thinking about this, Yemo burned with anxiety. He immediately said to Guo, I'm going to see what's going on. We'll talk later. Then Yemo got on his flying ship and headed northwest immediately. Guo saw this and murmured, This Qianbei seems similar to the brother Yi I met at the herb plains. He seems very interested in the South Peace State 10 Beauties. Then he shook his head and took out his flying spirit artifact to follow. Yemo couldn't understand how there were so many people gathered at the barren, rocky beach. There were at least 500 people here, and this was due to some people not having reaching level 3 yet. Otherwise, there would be even more. A defense formation was exposed in front of everyone. It was a level 6 defense formation. Seeing this, Yemo's heart sunk. This formation was the location on the map, the place Yu Baixing had placed the bitter bamboo. It was obvious that the stealth formation outside of it had been broken. Yemo knew that if the bitter bamboo was revealed, then even if he got it, he would never live a peaceful life. This was such an ordinary place. How could someone find the defense formation here? Yemo's eyes scanned onto Fu Rong and came to a realization. It seemed that although Yu Nianyan didn't tell Fu Rong the exact location, he still found the approximate location. Fu Rong was quite lucky he reached this place before him. However, this Fu Rong knew there was bitter bamboo here. Why did he reveal it to everyone? When he saw Fu Rong's bleak eyes, it was clear that he didn't intentionally do this. This defense formation wasn't broken yet, and just when Yemo was thinking how to get in before they broke the formation, a few more people arrived. There were at least 2 he didn't want to see. One was Ling Xiaoshuang, another was Wen Sai. But Yemo couldn't leave. The enticement of the bitter bamboo was too much for him. What is it? The first man who flew here asked. Yemo knew this guy. He was nascent soul state level 5, the genius of the Infinity sect, Yuan Guanan. Another nascent soul state from Infinity sect got up and said, Marshal Brother Yuan, I saw a powerful spirit chi whirlpool appear here, and then I came. Then I saw these earth demon sect cultivators. I suspect that this place might be the entrance to the Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds. Then he pointed at Fu Rong. When he said the words, Truth Fall Palace, Forbidden Grounds, there was a ruckus. Clearly, these words meant quite a lot. Yuan Guanan nodded and said to Fu Rong, "Tell me what's going on." Yes. Fu Rong didn't dare to show any unhappiness in front of Yuan Guanan and said, "I reached level 2 and accidentally got separated from my sect members. When I got to level 3, I wanted to find a place to send a message for my sect members to gather here. I found that this rocky beach is very spacious and easy to see, so I was prepared to wait for my sect members here. Then," he said, "because I know a little about formations, I found a stealth formation here. After I opened it, I saw another huge defense formation. But as soon as the stealth formation was broken, countless spirit chi whirlpools appeared, and they got bigger and bigger until finally disappearing 15 minutes later. Then, you can guess what happened next. The spirit chi whirlpool attracted countless cultivators, and they believed this was some Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds." Yemo sneered. Fu Rong was at most a level 3 formation master. If he hadn't studied Yu Baixing's formations, he wouldn't be able to find the stealth formation at all. But people thought this place was Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds now. What should he do? It was impossible to go in and get the bitter bamboo in front of all these people. Suddenly, he felt some coldness. He subconsciously glanced back and saw Wen Tsai staring at him with a cold face. Her eyes were full of intense killing intent. Yi Mo knew that she had recognized him. Just when Yi Mo was hesitating, another pair of cold eyes glanced at him. Yi Mo cursed. This time they belonged to Ling Xiaoshuang. At this moment, a few more people flew over. It was those golden core state peak stage cultivators that Yi Mo had kicked away. They were slower, so Yi Mo had been here for a while before they came. The three saw Yi Mo, and that female cultivator immediately walked to a girl with a veil on her face. "Marshall's sister Pandai, this guy wanted to rob us because he was nascent soul state cultivator." She pointed at Yi Mo with strong sense of dissatisfaction. The woman glanced at Yi Mo and said, "You're a nascent soul state level 1 cultivator, but you dare to rob our Heaven Star sect golden core state cultivators things. Do you have any shame, or did our sect offend you?" Yi Mo was already unhappy, and this woman just heard one side of the story and used the Heaven Star sect to threaten him. Since when was he afraid of threats? But before Yi Mo could speak, Ling Xiaoshuang spoke. "Marshall's sister Pandai. This person is Ning Xiaoma. He's a lewd pervert. He harasses any pretty girls he meets and even uses lewd means." Chapter 1050 Warmth of Friendship. Chapter 1050 Warmth of Friendship. When Tsai looked at Yi Mo in surprise, and the contempt in her eyes grew. She didn't expect this guy to not only be small-hearted, but to like to bully low-level cultivators and also to be lecherous. Pandai stared at Yi Mo coldly, and suddenly a dual-ring magic artifact appeared. She said coldly to Yi Mo, "Give back Marshall's sister Yu's things and apologize, or I will kill you." Pan Yaidi was nascent soul state level 2, and the core disciple of an 8-star sect. Other than Wen Tsai, no one believed she was unable to kill Yi Mo. Ling Xiaoshuang believed that Yi Mo wasn't even a match for her. How could he beat Pan Yaidi, who was stronger than her? But Ling Xiaoshuang told Pandai telepathically, "Marshall's sister Pandai, he hid his power. He's actually nascent soul state level 3. Pandai nodded and looked at Yi Mo with even more contempt. "Being sneaky and lurking in the shadows, you won't accomplish much. If you don't do as I say, I will still kill you." Even though Yi Mo was nascent soul state level 3, Pandai was confident she could kill him. The South P State 10 beauties had an abundance of fans everywhere. The cultivators around her already started to look at Yi Mo with unhappy eyes. Even the matter of this defense formation had been set aside for the moment. Yi Mo saw that he had enemies all around him and sneered. He knew that even if he fought them now, he wouldn't be able to beat so many cultivators. He still had important things to do. Now wasn't the time to attack. "What? You still don't want to hand it over?" Pandai saw that Emo didn't speak and sneered. Her dual ring buzzed as she injected her cultivation essence into it. Marshall Sister Pandai, let me deal with things like this. I'll make sure this guy begs on the ground. Another male cultivator next to her said. Emo scanned this male cultivator. He was nascent soul state level 4. Without a doubt, he was also a genius among geniuses to be able to reach nascent soul state level 4 within 100 years. Pandai shook her head. No need, I said. I will make him spit it out, and so I will do it. Emo looked coldly at Pandai and said, Idiot, then tell me, what did I rob from that woman? Pandai turned around and asked Marshall Sister You. Marshall Sister You, what did he rob from you? Tell me, and I will make him spit it out. Marshall Sister You seemed a little worried, but she soon calmed down and pointed at Emo. He robbed my crisp green vine. Before Marshall Sister You could say anything else, Pandai glared at Emo coldly. Give it back. The crisp green vine wasn't something very precious to nascent soul state cultivators. A nascent soul state cultivator robbed a golden core state female cultivator's spirit herb, and it was only a mere level 6 spirit herb. Immediately, everyone looked at Emo contemptuously. Emo saw that this woman wanted to find trouble for herself and couldn't be bothered controlling his anger anymore. He raised his hand, and a flying sword appeared in his hand. He stared coldly at Pandai. If you want to fight, then fight. Stop spewing bullshit. When Pandai saw that Emo would rather fight her than give the crisp green vine, she also got angry. Her power levels rose. However, Ling Xiaoshuang frowned. Her sex cultivation method was all about the heart, and she felt that Marshall Sister You hadn't told the truth. However, she didn't say anything. In her eyes, Emo need to be taught a lesson. Kill him. Kill him. Cultivators around them started cheering for Pandai. Almost everyone was saying to kill Emo quickly. Marshall Sister Pandai, leaving such a shameless cultivator in the world is a harm. Just kill him. Don't worry, I'm sure he can't escape, Yuan Guanan suddenly said. Pandai glanced at Yuan Guanan. She knew that he meant she could attack full on. If she was in danger or this Ning Xiaoma tried to run away, he would attack. However, she didn't reply. When the two were about to fight, a few more flying swords headed over. Marshall Brother Xiaoma, I knew you would be fine. Thank God. Marshall Brother Xiaoma, you're all right. This is great. Xiaoma Brother. Emo heard this and immediately knew Qingyi and the others were here. He felt some warmth, but didn't accept Xia Yushan to call him Xiaoma Brother. For women had arrived. Everyone knew where they came from. They were sect members of the Clear Dream Mosque. 3 of them were nuns. Everyone was shocked to find that the nuns of the Clear Dream Mosque were with this shameless and lewd cultivator. Pandai even forgot to attack and was confused with what was going on. Clear Dream Mosque had strict rules. How could their sex be associated with this Ning Xiaoma and be so intimate as well? The nuns of the Clear Dream Mosque who were already here also looked at Qingyi and the others in shock. Ling Xiaoshuang was even more confused. Her martial sisters greeted Ning Xiaoma before greeting her. Suddenly, she thought of the female cultivator she met at Truthfall City. After Ning Xiaoma got to her, she would rather cry and help Ning Xiaoma than... Ling Xiaoshuang didn't dare to keep thinking. She didn't believe that in such a short time, Ning Xiaoma had the means to get all of her martial sisters. Ling Xiaoshuang suddenly felt cold. If this really was the case, then Ning Xiaoma was too good with dealing with women. Seeing Emo chatting with her 4 martial sisters, she immediately called out, Qingyi, what are you guys doing there? Hurry up and come here. Qingyi also noticed something was wrong. She looked around and saw Clear Dream Mosque's moon dual rings, as well as Emo's flying sword, and understood something. She looked at Pandai and asked, Martial Sister Pandai, is there some misunderstanding between you and Martial Brother Xiaoma? Martial brother Xiaoma? Ipandai looked at Qing Han in confusion and asked, "Were you tricked by this hypocrite? He's lecherous and likes to abuse low-level cultivators. He's not a good person. Why are you calling him martial brother Xiaoma?" Ipandai didn't know how to speak and had already offended Qing Han and them. Hearing this, Qing Han's soft voice turned cold. "Ipandai, what do you mean? You not only frame martial brother Xiaoma, and you do that to us as well. Is the Heaven Star sect very great? You can speak without being responsible for your words?" Yi Mo saved them by risking his life, and they had been with Yi Mo for more than a few days. The four were very grateful to Yi Mo. Yi Mo was always respectful to them. He was nothing close to lecherous, but now Pandai framed Yi Mo like this. Plus, Pandi's words meant that they were staying with a lecherous person. Didn't that imply they were lecherous too? Pandai also realized her words were inappropriate. Qing Han was from a 9-star sect, while she was only from an 8-star sect, and at most had the title of South Peace State 10 Beauties. Just when Pandai didn't know what to say, Ling Xiaoshuang said, "Martial sister Qingyan, you guys must have been tricked by that Ning Xiaoma. He's good at pretending. Hurry up and come back. Stop speaking for him." Qing Han was dazed. She didn't expect Ling Xiaoshuang to say that of Ning Xiaoma too. She was very disappointed. She knew very well what sort of a person Ning Xiaoma was. Martial sister Qing Shuang clearly thought of Yi Mo like this because of other people's words. Qing Yi was a kind-hearted girl. She heard Ling Xiaoshuang's words and began to tear up. Martial sister Qing Shuang, martial brother Xiaoma is really a good person. Don't wrong him. If someone is to start trouble with him, I will be the first to help him. I will help brother Xiaoma as well. Xia Yushan immediately got up and said. Qing Yue, who never spoke, just stood behind Yi Mo, and Qing Han released her flying sword. Yi Mo suddenly felt touched. He just helped them casually, yet they were so thankful to him. This made him feel the warmth of friendship. Chapter 1051 Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds. Chapter 1051 Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds. Yi Mo said to Qing Han and the others, "Thank you for your friendship, but it's not that I'm scared of her Heaven Star sect." If the Clear Dream Mosque girls hadn't intervened, the Heaven Star sect nascent soul state cultivators weren't going to let Yi Mo go easily. But these few girls clearly seemed close to Yi Mo, and if they went up now, it would just exacerbate the problem. If it caused conflict between Heaven Star sect and Clear Dream Mosque, that wasn't something they could handle. No, martial brother Xiaoma, we will stand by your side firmly. We know you're a good person. They've misunderstood you because they don't know you, Qing Yi said immediately. Martial sister Qing Han, Ning Xiaoma used his nascent soul state cultivator power to rob Heaven Star sect's golden core state, disciple martial sister Yu of her level 6 spirit herb. That's why martial sister Pandai wants to teach him a lesson. Come back first, Ling Xaishuang said. I don't believe it. I trust that martial brother Xiaoma won't steal a golden core state disciple's spirit herb. As for the accuser, who knows if she's telling the truth or not? This time, it was the shy Qing Yue who spoke and glared coldly at Jiyu. Ling Xiaoshuang was dazed. She now suspected even more that Yi Mo had put her martial sister under a spell. Otherwise, how could Qing Yue, who didn't like to talk, speak up for Ning Xiaoma? This woman is lying. Another voice sounded at this moment. Yi Mo knew that Guo Qifan had arrived. Guo Qifan was only a 5-star sect member, but he still came to help speak for him. He was quite brave. Guo Qifan walked up and said loudly, My 2 martial brothers and I found 2 crisp green vines, but there was a level 6 spirit beast guarding it. At that time, the 4 people from Heaven Star sect came by and found it too. We made an agreement to kill the beast together and take 1 vine each. Ji Yu's eyes seemed worried, but she didn't dare to stop Guo Qifan from talking. Then, Gua Chifan looked at Ji Yu contemptuously. We didn't expect that red backwolf to be so powerful. He killed 2 of my martial brothers before he died, and 1 from the Heaven Star sect died too. However, this female cultivator took both crisp green vines and said that because her friend died, she was going to take both. I didn't agree, so she was about to kill me, but luckily this Xiaoma Qianbei came by. He asked about what was going on and asked her to hand over the crisp green vine. She didn't give it and left. Xiaoma Qianbei didn't do anything to her because she left. Gua Chifan raised his voice, speaking about this. My life was saved by Xiaoma Qianbei. I must help him prove that this woman is lying. I know I'm a 5-star sect member, and I might die for what I said, but I must say it. Qing Han sneered. Tell us your name and sect. I don't believe that they dare to do something to you and your sect. I always hear about the thief calling out thieves, but this is the first time I've actually seen it. He's Cultivation Cauldron, Sect's Gua Chifan. I know him, someone said from the crowd. Qing Han said again, okay. She didn't say anything else after that, but clearly everyone knew what she meant. She remembered this sect name, and if anything happened to it, it would be due to the Heaven Star sect. Ling Xiaoshuang didn't stop Qing Han. She felt that Gua Chifan was telling the truth and that Jiyu was lying. Yi Pandai turned around and asked Jiyu, Martial Sister Yu, tell me, is that person lying? We're just an 8-star sect, but we're not people to be easily threatened. Clearly, Yi Pandai was unhappy with Qing Han's dominance, but she was rather reasonable and didn't attack before sorting things out. If she was sure that Yi Mo did it, then even if Qing Han helped him, she must kill Yi Mo. Ji Yu looked down and didn't say anything. She knew that if she lied and caused conflict between the 2 sects, she would die for sure. But it was just that one word, and Yi Pandai knew that she really had wronged Ning Xiaoma. Her face immediately turned sour. Give it, she said to Ji Yu. Ji Yu took out the 2 crisp green vines. Yi Pandai took one and threw it to Yi Mo. I was impulsive just then, sorry. Have this crisp green vine back. Yi Mo took it and gave it to Gua Chifan. He didn't say anything in reply. Yi Pandai apologized, but her tone was stiff. When Tsai, who was going to cause trouble for Yi Mo, saw the tables turn and decided to not pursue it. Ling Xiaoshuang wanted to ask a lot of things from her martial sister, but she couldn't really do so in front of so many people. At this moment, another 2 sword lights dashed over. Yi Mo focused his eyes and saw it was a short-haired, bulky man and a dark-faced, skinny man. Both were Hollow Spirit State cultivators, just Hollow Spirit State level 1. But he knew that, faced against them, his chances of getting the bitter bamboo were even slimmer. Qing Han walked over to Yi Mo and introduced them to him. One of them is Jin Gong Temple's Ku Xan, the other is God Wind Valley's Duan Jiang. I'll go greet my martial sister from my sect. How about you come with us? Yi Mo shook his head. He didn't want to see this Ling Xiaoshuang the most. Seeing this, Qing Han thought about what martial sister Xiaoshuang had said and didn't say anything. She just took her martial sister to go meet up first. Everyone came to greet the 2 Hollow Spirit State cultivators. The short, bulky man stood at the level 6 formation and looked around for a while before saying, Jun, do you think is the Truth Fall Palace forbidden grounds? Duan Jiang looked at it for a while and nodded. It should be. I didn't expect the forbidden grounds to appear again after 1,000 years. Is this good or bad? Yi Mo had never heard of the Truth Fall Palace forbidden grounds. Gua Chifan saw Yi Mo frown and whispered to Yi Mo, Xiaoma Qianbei, before, when the Truth Fall Palace appeared, people would always find the Truth Fall Palace forbidden grounds. For the last 1,000 years, however, it never appeared. What is the Truth Fall Palace forbidden grounds? Yi Mo asked in confusion. Gua Chifan immediately said, It said that there are countless treasures inside, but 19 out of 20 people who enter die. Yi Mo thought, if this forbidden ground is so terrifying, Why were there still people going? Gua Chifan continued explaining. Ever since the Forbidden Grounds stopped appearing, people researched those Qianbei who ascended into the immortal realm. They found out that they'd all been to the Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds. South Peace State hasn't had anyone ascend for a millennium. People guessed it might be related to the Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds. Yi Emo looked at the excited cultivators and understood. It was every cultivator's dream to ascend into the immortal realm. And Gua Chifan looked at the hollow spirit state cultivator and said again, I heard that people have found immortal cultivation homes in the Forbidden Grounds and taken them out. Yi Emo was truly shocked this time. That was equivalent to his golden page world in the cultivation realm, although he knew that no immortal cultivation home could compare with the golden page world. This was the cultivation realm. No wonder so many people wanted to go in. Each sect formed their own squad. We'll attack this restriction together, Duan Jiang said. With so many nascent soul state cultivators and 2 hollow spirit state cultivators, a level 6 formation wasn't going to last long at all. 15 minutes later, everyone heard a rumble as this level 6 defense formation was completely broken. A vibrant red light appeared before everyone. Chapter 1052, When Sai's Invitation. Chapter 1052. When Sai's invitation, the word restriction, hung above the hexagonal door in big red characters. This reminded Yi Emo of the hexagonal hall he saw at the All-Herb mountain ranges. But there seemed to be endless dark mists rustling about inside the door. His spirit sense couldn't reach inside at all. It really is Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds, Ku Xan said. It really is the Forbidden Grounds! Many cultivators saw this and couldn't help exclaiming. Ku Xian and Duan Jiang glanced at each other before nodding with certainty. Let's go! Then the 2 dashed inside. With 2 hollow spirit state cultivators going inside first, the cultivators behind all followed. There was no cultivator who didn't want to ascend into the mortal realm. If there was a cultivator who feared death, he wouldn't be in the Truthful Palace. So as soon as the Forbidden Grounds opened, everyone rushed in. There were previously about 700 people at the stony beach, but now there were less than half. Amongst these cultivators, Yi Emo was the most confused. He could tell that this was Yu Baixing Qianbei's defense formation. How could it be the entrance to the Forbidden Grounds? Yi Emo soon found that not all the people from those 6-star and above sects entered. After discussion, the Golden Core State cultivators all left. Without a doubt, they went on to Truthful Palace Level 4. It was indeed dangerous for Golden Core State cultivators to enter if the Forbidden Grounds were as dangerous as Guichifan said. At this moment, Qinghan and them walked up to Yi Emo. Qingyi asked, Martial Brother Xiaoma, are you going inside as well? Yi Emo nodded. He was going for sure, regardless of whether it was related to immortal ascension. Just the bitter bamboo being there meant that he had to go, or he would regret it forever. Plus, he had the Golden Page world. He didn't believe he would die there. Seeing this, Qinghan and them fell silent. Qinghan said after a while, Our sect has 6 nascent soul state martial sisters going inside. We need to go to level 4 and level 5 to collect spirit, herbs, and materials for the sect. Martial Brother Xiaoma, I asked my big sister, and she said the small transmission rune would be greatly weakened in a level 3 trap formation. It's not even able to escape from a nascent soul state, primary stage, cultivator's spirit sense. Although I don't know how you got away, I know that you're no ordinary cultivator. So, Martial Brother Xiaoma, if my martial sisters are in trouble, please help them if you can. Martial Sister Xiaoshuang just has some misunderstanding with you. Don't think too much of it. Don't worry. If they're in trouble, I won't watch from the side. I haven't thanked you guys for before, Yi Emo quickly said. Then we'll be going. Martial Brother Xiaoma, take care. This is for you. You must look at it later. Ching Han took out a jade slip and marked something on it before giving it to Yemo. Yemo put it away and didn't mind it too much. He thought it was probably Ching Han's words of gratitude. Martial Brother Xiaoma, if you make it out, come visit us at Clear Dream Mosque when you're free. Qingyi wanted to leave the least, but they knew that Yemo was definitely going into the forbidden grounds. Qing Yue and Xia Yushan came to bid Yemo farewell as well before leaving. The cultivators of other sects began leaving too. Guo Qifan saluted with his fists to Yemo again. Xiama Qianbei, I'll be going too in the future. Yemo waved his hand and smiled. He took out a jade bottle and gave it to him. Brother Guo, you don't need to be like this. If I'm free, I'll visit you guys at Cultivation Cauldron sect for sure. Guo Qifan took the pill and found that this scene was very similar to the scene when Yemo gave him pills. After Guo Qifan had walked a long way, he opened the jade bottle. The contents shocked him even more than the pill Yemo had given him before. It was a Chao Huan pill. If Guo Qifan didn't realize that Xiama Qianbei was Yemo right now, he would be an idiot. No nascent soul state cultivator would be bored enough to be friends with a golden core state cultivator other than that brother Yi he had met. Plus, he said visit you guys. That clearly included Yan Qi and Ding Ling. When he first met him, Yemo was only golden core state, primary stage. Now, brother Yi was already a nascent soul state cultivator. What was a prodigy? Guo Qifan suddenly felt that the prodigies of South Peace State were a far cry compared to Brother Yi. Such a prodigy was willing to be his friend and give him a Chao Huan pill so casually. How lucky he was to have such friend. Guo Qifan, who felt quite defeated after losing a few sect members, suddenly found the will to fight again. Soon, the people left on this rocky beach only numbered in the tens. Yemo didn't move. He was in no rush to go inside. He wanted to know how the Bitter Bamboo location became the Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds. Of course, there was another thing that was more important. Fu Rong hadn't entered yet. Yuan Guanan said to Wen Tsai, Martial Sister Tsai, everyone else went in. Let's go in together as a team. Wen Tsai smiled at Yuan Guanan and suddenly walked up to Yemo, Martial Brother Xiaoma. Hello. I really admire your heroic acts. If you don't mind, we can go in as a team. I'm Wen Tsai, Infinity Sex member. No one expected Wen Tsai to suddenly do this. There was such a difference between their status. How could Wen Tsai call Yemo so intimately as Martial Brother Xiaoma? Even Ling Xiaoshuang was dazed, not sure why Wen Tsai was doing this. Yemo wasn't sure either. But he was sure that Wen Tsai knew that he was the cultivator who had slapped her face with 10 million spirit stones. But Yemo looked at the bleak-faced Yuan Guanan and those nascent soul state, tertiary stage cultivators who hadn't gone in yet and realized Wen Tsai's intentions. This woman showed affection to him to make other male cultivators unhappy with him. If he was alone, it wouldn't do him any good. This was a woman who knew how to use her looks. She was pretty, but she had a shitty personality and such sinister plots. Yemo suddenly felt disgusted with this Wen Tsai to the extreme. Wen Tsai indeed did this for the reasons Yemo thought, but it was targeted at those few nascent soul state level 8s 9s. And there was one more thing. Wen Tsai genuinely wanted to invite Yemo to go with her. Lu Jianqiang wasn't much weaker than Yuan Guanan. If Ning Xiaoma could kill Lu Jianqing so silently, it meant that Yuan Guanan was no match for him. From Ling Xiaoshuang, she knew that Ning Xiaoma was a lecherous person, and she knew that Ling Xiaoshuang never lied. Chapter 1053, Killing Fu Rong. Chapter 1053, Killing Fu Rong. Yemo glanced at Wen Tsai plainly. No matter what intentions this woman had, he didn't want to be on the same team as her, but he knew that he couldn't start a conflict with her. It wasn't that he was afraid of her, but if he had a conflict with Wen Tsai, Yuan Guanan would be the first to stand up for her. In that case, He wouldn't be able to hide his strength. If he beat Yuan Guanan, he would expose his strength, and that way he would immediately garner unwanted fame. A nascent soul state who could enter Truthfall Palace was nothing, but one who could beat the #1 genius of the Infinity Sect would immediately catch the attention of the entire South Peace State. Perhaps the next moment, everything about him would be investigated. He came from Pei Hai City, and Tian Alfing died in the Heartless Sea. It was easy to connect this correlation with him. So, although he despised this woman a lot, he tried to calm his tone. Marshal Sisterwin, how about you go in first? I'm very timid, and I'm not sure if I should go in. I heard it's really dangerous in there. I don't want to lose my life easily, but I'm very grateful that you chose me. Then Yemo forced a smile and saluted with his fists. Ling Xiaoshuang looked at Yemo in confusion. She thought that with someone as pretty as Wen Sai, Yemo would immediately happily agree to go with her and even drool. How could he reject? Was he really scared of death? Wen Sai didn't expect Yemo to reject her. Didn't Ling Xiaoshuang say he was lewd? Wen Sai was very prideful. Even though she had nefarious intentions inviting Yemo, she still felt very uncomfortable being rejected. She believed that Yemo should be scurrying to be with her. She looked at Yemo scornfully and said to Yuan Guanan, "Marshal brother Yuan, let's go." Yuan Guanan gave Yemo a cold look as though Yemo was already dead meat. He didn't believe a genius like him would die inside. So regardless of whether Yemo went in or not, he would take Yemo's life after he came out. With this more nascent soul state, cultivators entered. Ling Xiaoshuang and her martial sister stopped by Yemo and said, "With your capabilities, why do such lewd things? There will be plenty of good girls who like you." Although her martial sisters already said that Yemo saved them, she already had a negative opinion of Yemo and felt that Yemo had a purpose to doing everything. However, he indeed did help Qing Han and them. Yemo was most scared of being with Ling Xiaoshuang. He didn't want to fight with her, as she would immediately know that he was the cultivator who left after the trial. Yemo immediately let some joy show in his eyes and stared at Ling Xiaoshuang intently. Then, in fact, my feelings for others are fake. When I first saw you, Shameless. Ling Xiaoshuang couldn't control her anger anymore and cursed at Yemo before turning towards the door. Her martial sisters also looked at Yemo disappointedly before going in. Luckily, when Tsai wasn't here, or she might rage seeing that Yemo had rejected her but showed interest in Ling Xiaoshuang. At this moment, there was only Yemo and Fu Rong here. Fu Rong was really worried. He didn't care about the forbidden grounds. He just wanted the bitter bamboo, like Yemo. But almost everyone had gone in now. Why didn't this Ning Xiaoma go in? Just when he was planning to talk to Ning Xiaoma, he found that Ning Xiaoma turned around and smiled at him before saying calmly, "Brother Fu, it's been a while. How have you been?" Yemo was nascent soul state level 3 now. Even if Fu Rong had the small transmission rune, he was prepared for it. Plus, he didn't believe that Fu Rong would have a second one. Fu Rong's body shook, and he looked at Yemo with uncertainty and shock. Yemo took off stealth sand and said, "Brother Fu, you're really forgetful. You've forgotten me already? Last time you said you weren't going to let me go, but you've forgotten me already? I'm really disappointed. You're Yemo?" Fu Rong immediately began to sweat. He was scared of Yemo the most now. This cultivator of unknown origin was not only extremely cunning, but also stronger than him. Just as Yemo guessed, he only had one small transmission rune. "So, it's Brother Yi. Last time we had some misunderstanding. I'll apologize now." Fu Rong thought desperately of a way to escape. Yemo sneered, "No need for apologies, but I want to know, what's your father's name?" Hearing this, Fu Rong was even more shocked. Yemo asked this question, meaning that he probably already knew of his schemes. "Why did everyone go in but you? How did you find Baixing, Qian Bei's stealth formation?" Yemo asked. Fu Rong's heart sunk. Yi Mo's words meant that he knew about the bitter bamboo. He must have met Yin Yanyan too. Fu Rong thought, why didn't she die? Why did Yi Mo see her? What do you want to let me go? Fu Rong asked. Let you go. Yi Mo smiled. I've never thought of doing that. I've already promised a few people to kill you. Even I myself want to kill you. But if you can answer me, I'll give you some freedom. Otherwise, I will give your nascent soul to Li Qianping. So it's that bitch. Fu Rong realized. He and his father schemed so hard just for the bitter bamboo. Now the bitter bamboo was gone and he had already despaired, now feeling even worse after being threatened by Yi Mo. But he would never tell everything about the bitter bamboo. Fu Rong didn't want to talk anymore and released a long black sword. There was a sharp shriek upon its release. Yi Mo knew this sword. It was a low-grade cultivation artifact called Gray Sparrow found in Yu Baixing's storage ring. Yi Mo realized why it had such a name. It had a sharp sparrow shriek that could cause chaos in cultivators' cultivation essence. But Yi Mo's cultivation essence was far stronger than Fu Rong's. As soon as Fu Rong pulled out Gray Sparrow, Zisu already brought 3 purple sword rays over. Fu Rong was cunning, and since he didn't want to talk, Yi Mo didn't have the time to talk with him. This illusion cloud essence binding strike meant that Yi Mo didn't want to give Fu Rong any chance of escape. Fu Rong spat out blood immediately. He hadn't even finished his first move and was already prepping his blood escape. He had never planned to fight with Yi Mo. He was still scared from his last fight with Yi Mo. But soon he felt that his cultivation essence just ran around his body, unable to leave the surrounding space. Fu Rong was shaken. He didn't expect that Yi Mo's move could bind his cultivation essence as well. This meant that he couldn't use blood mobility. Fu Rong was regretful. If he didn't just think about running and used Gray Sparrow to fight with Yi Mo, even if he was no match, he could find an opportunity to escape. But now he had used 90% of his cultivation essence for blood escape, making his Gray Sparrow powerless. However, Yi Mo's second strike already arrived with intense purple sword rays. He now realized that Yi Mo wasn't even nascent soul state level 1. He was much stronger than even nascent soul state level 3. Although he wanted to beg for mercy, Yi Mo's whirlpool strike had already hacked his body to pieces. A small nascent soul ran out and wanted to escape, but it was swept by Yi Mo's sword rays and dispersed in the air in balls of energy. Yi Mo was planning to give it to Li Qianping, but thinking about the bitter bamboo, he decided not to. He only kept just the head in the end. Chapter 1054, Killing Intent Everywhere. Chapter 1054, Killing Intent Everywhere. After Yi Mo killed Fu Rong, he immediately came to the hexagonal door. There were no marks of Yu Baixing's stealth formation at all. There was just a big word, restriction, at the top. He didn't see the bitter bamboo and felt disappointed. Yi Mo looked at this door, but didn't go in. He took out the map the female cultivator gave him. However, the map started making a sizzling sound as though something was being dissolved. Yi Mo was shook and thought there was something wrong with the map. He just went to throw it away when he found that the map had completely changed. The surface was gone, showing a new map instead. There was just a big black mountain and some markings towards it. On the black mountain was planted a green crisp bamboo. Bitter bamboo? Yi Mo almost called out. He resisted his excitement and stared at the words on the map. Space Formation Door, Truth Fall Palace, Forbidden Grounds, Bitter Bamboo, shows. What was going on? Yi Mo was dazed. Even though Yu Baixing was a forgery grandmaster, he wouldn't be able to make such a thing. Was it that he never had the bitter bamboo, but only knew where it was? Or was it that his ancestors found the bitter bamboo, but weren't able to keep it alive, so they moved it to the World Mountain in the Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds? Regardless, Yi Mo was very excited. Yu Baixing's formation just blocked the entrance to the Forbidden Grounds. This Yu Baixing really had some capabilities. He found the next entrance to the Forbidden Grounds and set up a formation there, causing the Forbidden Grounds to never open again. At this moment, more cultivation essence waves came. Clearly, more people knew about the Forbidden Grounds and came quickly. Yi Emo didn't want other people to see him, so he dashed into the door. A sense of emptiness came. It was as though he was walking on ground, and then suddenly he walked into air. This was indeed a space formation door, but a space formation door wasn't something that an ordinary formation great master like Yu Baixing could set up. This place was the Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds indeed. When he completely recovered, he found that he was amidst a gray dimension. There were just black rocks everywhere as well as caves and holes. There wasn't even a drop of water, much less spirit herbs. The spirit chi here was also very impure. Was this really the Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds? The place where treasure was strewn all over the ground. Suddenly, tens of killing chi arrived without any premonition. Even Yi Emo didn't feel it at all with his powerful sixth sense. Yi Emo only found out when they arrived. He immediately released Zi Su and burst out his cultivation essence. Even so, 2 chi sliced across his back, leaving 2 deep gashes. Yi Emo was shook. If it wasn't that he had the half-cultivation artifact armor protecting him, that attack was enough to heavily injure him. This definitely wasn't someone or something ambushing him. This killing chi seemed to belong here. Space wind blades. Yi Emo blurted out. Only such things would be able to injure him, silently. Space wind blades weren't as strong as space disposition, but even hollow spirit state cultivators would die facing off against dense space wind blades, much less him. Immediately, 2 more black lightning bolts fell, and he quickly dodged to the side. Luckily, they were different than divine damnation and didn't lock onto him. Rumble, rumble, 2 more huge blasts, and 2 holes appeared at where Yi Emo stood, with rubble flying everywhere. Yi Emo took a deep breath in. Such a harsh environment, no wonder less than 5% of cultivators could survive upon entering. At this moment, a howl of pain sounded. Yi Emo's spirit sense scanned a nascent soul state, level 1 cultivator who just came in getting torn apart by a space wind blade. Yi Emo grew cautious and took out the map, finding the approximate location of the World Mountain, and started heading there. Yi Emo encountered space wind blades and black lightning bolts from time to time, but with experience he didn't get injured again. He just hoped he wouldn't meet large grounds of space wind blades, or he would have no other choice but to go in the Golden Page world. 2 days later, Yi Emo still hadn't found anything. A light wind came, and Yi Emo didn't mind. He scanned his spirit sense out, and his face changed immediately. He dashed into his Golden Page world without thought. After a long while, he came out and found that he wasn't at the place where he went into the Golden Page world. Now he was really worried. There was really space chaos flow. If he wasn't quick to react, he would have been swept away. Space wind blades, space chaos flow, black lightning. Just how many more lethal means were here? Yi Emo didn't move. He didn't know how long it would take to reach the World Mountain with his current speed. Would the Truth Fall Palace be closed by then? Less than 7 minutes later, a few more figures flew past rapidly towards Yi Emo, was shaken seeing how fast they went. Did they not want to live? Why weren't they scared? It's you! The head nun was a nascent soul state level 8 from Clear Dream Mosque. Ling Xiaoshuang was behind her. Ling Xiaoshuang was also surprised. She didn't expect Yi Emo to really come in. Martial's sister, let's go quickly. Ling Xiaoshuang had no intention of talking to Yi Emo. Yi Emo just wanted to remind them about space chaos flow. Before the nun could reply, a few more people flew over. There were men and women. Their speed was very fast too. Yi Emo was more shocked. Did these people not fear death? The people who just came seemed to be from the Heaven Star sect. They didn't stop at all and flew past. Seeing this, the nun chased up immediately as though there was something ahead. But he didn't go very far when an enticing figure suddenly flew back. It was a woman. Yi-Mo knew her. It was Pandai. She came in front of Yi-Mo and stopped. Yi-Mo stopped too. If she was going to fight, Yi-Mo wasn't scared of her. But she clearly didn't intend to fight. She looked plainly at Yi-Mo and took out a jade slip. Throwing it to Yi-Mo, "It was my fault before. This is for you." Then she left with an even faster speed. Yi-Mo looked at the jade slip and scanned his spirit sense in. When he saw the content, he was shocked and had some gratitude towards this Pandai. The big sex really had a lot of knowledge. No wonder they could go so fast. The jade slip she gave him described how to avoid the space wind blades and space chaos flows. At the same time, he realized why when Psy asked to group up with him. The main method of avoiding the space wind blades required 2 or more people. He thought of the jade slip Ching-Han gave him and immediately looked at it. The contents were similar to what Pandai gave him. Chapter 1055. Hard to Ascend the World Mountain. Chapter 1055. Hard to ascend the world mountain if 2 people formed a team. Each person could use their cultivation essence so that they could form a cultivation essence force field. If there were space wind blades, the cultivation essence force field would change, and thus they could avoid it ahead of time. At the same time, one must control their spirit sense to extend to 30 kilometers, no more, no less. In this range, spirit sense was very sensitive. If the spirit sense was devoured or disappeared, it meant that the current direction led to space chaos flow and that it was necessary to change directions. Yi-Mo saw this and realized why these people could go so fast. It was probably because they had so many people go in that they had gathered experience to deal with this. But this experience was only gathered by big sections. Clearly Guo-Chi-Fan didn't know of them. It was certain death for him. Pandai also said on the jade slip that the place they went towards had something extremely valuable. Yi-Mo put away the jade slip and looked at their direction, but he didn't follow. Even if Pandai didn't tell him, it was obvious that there was something good there, seeing as how everyone rushed over so desperately. But Yi-Mo had his own business. He needed to go to the World Mountain. It wasn't in the opposite direction from everyone's movement, but it wasn't in the same direction either. Pandai, indeed, felt bad for misunderstanding Yi-Mo before. She saw Yi-Mo moving like a snail and being careful, and affirmed that Yi-Mo was indeed a solo cultivator. He didn't have a way to avoid the space wind blades and chaos flow. Yet he had lived here for so long and hadn't died. Even she approved of him a little. But she couldn't lose face to apologize to Yi-Mo publicly. So she did what she did just then. She thought that this was enough to repay him for the misunderstanding, because what she gave Yi-Mo was enough to save his life. But when her spirit sense scanned and discovered that Yi-Mo didn't come with them and chose another direction to head in, she sneered and felt that Yi-Mo didn't appreciate her goodwill. She had reminded him that there were good things here, but this guy doubted her and chose another direction. With the experience from the jade slip, Yi-Mo controlled his spirit sense to be about 30 kilometers. He carefully walked a few hundred kilometers and found that this method was almost foolproof in avoiding space chaos flow. Yi-Mo increased his speed. As for the space wind blades, Yi-Mo could sense some. Even if he encountered them, he had ways to dodge them. Eventually, Yi-Mo became more than twice as fast as Ling Xiaoshuang and them. A few days later, although the space wind blade and chaos flow didn't trouble him anymore, the black lightning grew more and more intense. Even though he had a lightning spirit root and could devour lightning sources, as well as possessing a half-cultivation artifact armor to protect him, he was still covered in wounds due to the barrage of lightning these past few days. Eventually, he had to slow down. If it was someone else, they would have died many times already. Even hollow spirit state or body condensation state cultivators weren't able to dodge this lightning. Even without the space chaos flow, the Forbidden Grounds was still a lethal place. On the 11th day, Yi-Mo saw the world mount ahead of him. It was a huge black mountain, seemingly without any signs of life, but when he felt it carefully, it seemed that all the life in the forbidden grounds was on this mountain. Black lightning kept appearing on the mountain. Undoubtedly, the black lightning came from this world mountain. Yi-Mo was shocked. The forbidden grounds seemed boundlessly huge. But this huge black mountain radiated the black lightning across the entire forbidden grounds. Clearly, this world mountain was no ordinary place. But the closer he got to the world mountain, the more lightning he encountered. Yi-Mo suspected that before he would even get to the mountain, he would be blasted into dust. This shouldn't be called World Mountain. It should be called Lightning Mountain. His spirit sense couldn't reach to the top of the mountain, so he wasn't sure if the bitter bamboo was actually there. But since he had come, he didn't plan to leave. However, there was too much black lightning in front of him. The closer he got, the denser the bolts were. How could he go up? Even if he had the lightning spirit route, he wouldn't be able to get on the world mountain. Yi-Mo thought that perhaps he could use the lightning attraction formation. Besides that, Yi-Mo really couldn't think of a way to get to the top of the mountain. With the density of the lightning, even body condensation state, cultivators might not be able to make it up. Even with the lightning attraction formation, Yi-Mo wasn't sure if he could make it. After all, the lightning was too dense. Yi-Mo poured out all the materials he had in his storage ring and kept making formation flags. He used almost all of his materials, except the ones he had saved for making a flying magic artifact. He worked for 5 days without rest in the Golden Page world, and when he walked out again, he started setting up the formation. According to his plan, he needed to draw the lightning strikes far away so he could charge up the mountain freely. A few days later, Yi-Mo set up a huge lightning attraction formation far away from the world mountain. Yi-Mo changed it a little so it didn't let the explosion happen inside the formation. Otherwise, not even level 7 or level 8 formation would be able to survive. It had been almost a month since he had come in the Truthfall Palace Forbidden Grounds, yet he still hadn't even touched the world mountain yet. His body was struck again and again while he was setting up the formation, but luckily his formation finally succeeded. Yi-Mo sighed. If he could direct all this lightning into the formation, he might even be able to create the #1 power station on Earth. After all was ready, Yi-Mo knew that everything depended on his success. If he failed, then all his days of work and his materials would have gone to waste. Yi-Mo threw the first formation flag out, and a black bolt of lightning quickly flew into the lightning attraction formation far away, and an explosion sounded. Yi-Mo carefully watched his lightning attraction formation and saw it was fine. He immediately rejoiced. He kept throwing out his formation flags, drawing more lightning bolts away. But there were too many lightning bolts on the world mountain. He was still struck by many lightning strikes, but at least his life wasn't in danger. Yi-Mo checked the lightning attraction formation and found it wasn't as stable as before. Even the lightning attraction formation wasn't able to take in so much lightning and not get damaged. He had to be quick, otherwise, if the lightning attraction formation was destroyed, he wouldn't have any more opportunities. Thinking about this, Yi-Mo threw formation flags along the way while using the 3-birth chant to the max and running. Huge mushroom clouds appeared at the lightning attraction formation. Yi-Mo's power also increased as he devoured more lightning source. However, the power of the lightning Yi-Mo had to deal was increasing as well. The higher he went up the mountain, the more powerful the lightning was. Eventually, Yi-Mo threw more and more formation flags rapidly, as he was scared of being zapped to dust. In a huge, rumbling explosion that Yi-Mo heard clearly, even from the world mountain, the lightning attraction formation finally exploded. The lightning attraction formation couldn't take it anymore and was obliterated. Before he could think much, more black lightning fell. Chapter 1056, Gasp and Sigh at the Bamboo. Chapter 10:56. Gasp and sigh at the bamboo with so many lightning bolts striking him. This strike was even stronger than his divine damnation. Yi Mo released Zi Su without hesitation. Rumble, 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 the purple sword rays clashed with the black lightning, creating horrifying explosions. The black lightning scattered everywhere, but half of it fell on Yi Mo's body. Even though Yi Mo used the three-birth chant to the extreme, Yi Mo didn't have a single unburnt patch of skin on him. There were burn wounds everywhere, and Yi Mo spat out mouthfuls of blood. This feeling was worse than his last divine damnation, but there were also benefits. With large amounts of black lightning source being forcefully sucked in, Yi Mo felt his cultivation essence grow rapidly. It seemed to have reached a limit, but this barrier didn't last for long before being forced open by his cultivation essence. With a rushing sensation of power, Yi Mo knew that he had reached nascent soul state level 4, but he wasn't joyful at all. This was only the first strike. There were dense clutters of lightning further on. How could he move on? The divine damnation was nothing compared to this. The divine damnation he had gone through before was like the gentle touch of a woman. Even if he got into the Golden Page world, he wouldn't be able to leave the World Mountain. Even if he was hollow spirit state level 4, he would lose his life here, much less his current status as a nascent soul state level 4. The black lightning didn't give time to rest like the divine damnation. It was incessant. Yi Mo sighed. He was about to go into the Golden Page world as the next wave of lightning was about to strike. Just when he wanted to go in, a green figure suddenly appeared before him. Bitter bamboo? In his excitement, he couldn't care about the next wave anymore. He charged towards that green thing. Rumble, countless lightning bolts struck down. That otherworldly bamboo also appeared before his eyes. He could even touch it with his hands. Thinking about this, Yi Mo immediately touched the bamboo and felt a sense of coolness and serenity. He had never felt so peaceful and awake. At this moment, his power that had just reached nascent soul state level 4 stabilized. It really was the bitter bamboo. Yi Mo's heart started throbbing quickly, but he soon calmed down again. He was sure this was the bitter bamboo, one of the 10 top spirit items. Yi Mo had understood now that the bitter bamboo didn't belong to the Yu family. He wasn't even sure if the Yu family's people had even come here. Suddenly, Yi Mo came to a surprising realization. He had been here quite a while. Why didn't the next wave of black lightning come? He had just heard sounds of explosions. He subconsciously turned back and saw that he was standing at the top of the World Mountain. The black lightning was still ravaging around him. But at the top where the bitter bamboo stood, it was peaceful. It was as though this was a completely different world. At this moment, Yi Mo seemed to have some sudden enlightenment and sat down. He felt his power slowly increasing and consolidating even though he wasn't cultivating. This time, Yi Mo didn't take long to wake up. He looked at this bitter bamboo in shock. He didn't even cultivate, and he was enlightened. Imagine if he was cultivating. The bitter bamboo could be used for forgery, but who would use this heavenly treasure for such a thing? Yi Mo became more excited when he found that the spirit chi here was completely different than the spirit chi outside. It was not only dense, but very pure as well. Yi Mo realized the bitter bamboo could probably only survive on the World Mountain. It was impossible to move such a huge mountain into his Golden Page world. He couldn't do that, but he had another way. He had a spirit range in his Golden Page world, and if he dug out the rock the bitter bamboo was growing on and moved it into the spirit range, it would probably survive. Yi Mo took out a top-grade spirit artifact, flying sword, and tried to cut out the rock, but he saw a gray tablet to the side. The World Mountain was completely black, and the bitter bamboo was green. This gray, white tablet seemed very obvious. The tablet had the words, "Yu family bitter bamboo. Non-Yu family members, please don't touch it or you will be hunted to the ends of the world. Yu Wanli." Yi Mo was dazed but immediately reacting. He smashed the tablet to pieces and sneered. He was more certain that the bitter bamboo had nothing to do with the Yu family. It might have always been here, and when the Truthfall Palace opened, the Yu family ancestor Yuanli came here and somehow found this. Then he considered the bitter bamboo to the Yu family's personal belonging. Although Yi Mo looked down on what Yuanli did, he approved of Yuanli's power to be able to get here. He himself almost died to the lightning bolts. This guy not only came, but went back as well. Clearly, he was much stronger than him. It was obvious that there were many powerful people in the world, and he was far from being able to compare. If he had time, he would ask around about who this Yuanli was. The only strange thing was, since Yuanli came here, why didn't he dig the bitter bamboo away? Yi Mo smiled and decided not to bother thinking about it. Sorry, but I'm going to take this bitter bamboo. Thinking this, Yi Mo released his spirit artifact, flying sword, and started digging at the rock. Clank Yi Mo used his full power, but the flying sword didn't even leave a mark on the rock. Yi Mo was shaken. The world mountain black rock. Was this hard? He began to realize why Yuanli didn't take the bitter bamboo away. Yi Mo used even more power with the flying sword this time, and it banged even louder. But Yi Mo found his top-grade spirit artifact, flying sword, had completely broken. Yi Mo was dazed for a moment before smiling bitterly. Yi Mo didn't want to use Zisu. That was his precious sword. If it broke, he wouldn't be able to find something as good as it again. Yi Mo took out the gray sparrow sword he got from Fu Rong. This was a low-grade cultivation artifact. It should have some effect. Yi Mo used his cultivation essence and dug at the rock. Clank this time. There was a slight mark left on the rock, but Yi Mo wiped with his hands and the mark was gone. Clearly, even a low-grade cultivation artifact wasn't able to dig the bitter bamboo away. Yi Mo sat defeated on the ground. He didn't try anymore because he knew it was useless. At this moment, Yi Mo realized that the World Mountain was no ordinary thing either. It was on par with bitter bamboo. But with his current power, he wouldn't even be able to cut off one piece, much less move away the entire mountain. Chapter 1057. Changes on the World Mountain. Chapter 1057. Changes on the World Mountain. Yi Mo got up and walked around the bitter bamboo a few times before suddenly rejoicing. Other people might not be able to take it, but he might have a way. He raised his hand and a red flame appeared in it. This was the red-colored heaven flame, mist lotus heart fire. If even this heaven flame wasn't able to cut it open, then he would have no other methods. The only thing he could do was get a tablet and write, "This is Yi Mo's bitter bamboo. Anyone who touches it will be done for." If he really did that, even he would laugh at himself. Suddenly, Yi Mo felt that the Yuanli must be a funny guy. Yi Mo began cutting the rock with the mist lotus heart fire. Sizzling sounds were emitted, and the air nearby was burnt to nothing by the power of the heaven flame. After 15 minutes, Yi Mo checked where he was cutting. There was a faint mark. The mist lotus heart fire could indeed cut the black rock. But according to this speed, he might only be able to finish it a few hundred years later. Yi Mo got up and looked at the range he chose to cut. He shook his head. This range was too big. Luckily, his mist lotus heart fire could still cut the rock. In order to reduce time, Yi Mo minimized the region he was cutting. He had chosen a 10-meter radius before, but now he chose a 3-meter radius. He had decided to spend a few decades, up to a century, to cut it. He wondered if he would be teleported out when the time was up. When Yi Mo started cutting at around a 3-meter radius, he found that the rock here was much softer. It had only been 15 minutes, but the depth of his incision was much deeper than before. Yi Mo thought, was the rock softer the closer it was to the bitter bamboo? He moved to about 30 centimeters from the bitter bamboo and started cutting. Yi Mo was joyful to find that his idea was right. Although the cultivation artifact couldn't cut anymore, the heaven flame was more effective the closer he got. With this speed, he would be able to dig the bitter bamboo out in less than half a month. Luckily, this bitter bamboo wasn't very thick, and so a diameter of 60 centimeters was enough to dig the bitter bamboo out. As for whether this range was too close and would hurt the bitter bamboo, Yemo couldn't care about it too much. No matter what, he was going to get the bitter bamboo. If he extended the diameter to 2 meters, he would need about half a year's time to cut it out. 12 days later, Yemo had completely cut the bitter bamboo out. He was full of joy and about to move it into his golden page world, but when he used his cultivation essence and spirit sense, he realized he was far from understanding the black rock. With his nascent soul state level 4 power and using his full power, Yemo wasn't even able to move this piece of it into his golden page world. Yemo started burning his essence blood. After that, he just barely managed to move the bitter bamboo into his golden page world. Sitting down inside the golden page world, Yemo breathed heavily. He had finally brought in. The bitter bamboo was his now. Yemo wanted to move the bitter bamboo next to the spirit range, but remembering that this rock was extremely heavy, he could only plant it here. But when Yemo was prepared to move it, the rock around the bitter bamboo fell off by itself. The black rock automatically sunk into the earth inside the golden page world and made a huge crater. Meanwhile, the bitter bamboo's roots were exposed to the outside. Yemo was surprised. Why did the black rock fall off itself? When he looked at the bitter bamboo, he found that the lively bamboo was a bit withered and its condition was worsening. Not good. Yemo would have never thought that the bitter bamboo, one of the 10 great spirit items, would wither up. Yemo was shaken. Could the bitter bamboo really not be moved away? Did he have to lose the bitter bamboo after all that hard work? Yemo didn't want to do that. He quickly brought the bitter bamboo next to the spirit range and planted it there. Yemo breathed easy. The bitter bamboo stopped withering. However, it wasn't as lively as before. Yemo looked at the bitter bamboo with frustration and then at the huge spirit range. He gritted his teeth and moved the spirit range completely under the bitter bamboo. This way, he didn't have a spirit range cultivation home to cultivate in. He could only cultivate next to the bitter bamboo. After Yemo did this, he found that the bitter bamboo recovered some life force. It wasn't as lively as when it was on the World Mountain, but it much better than before. What shook him even more was that he felt his golden page world change. It wasn't a dead dull gray like before, and now had a strong, powerful life force. Even the spirit herbs in here emitted strong life force. One of the 10 great spirit items. It lives up to its name indeed, Yemo murmured. He knew he had to get large amounts of spirit ranges for the bitter bamboo. A mere low-grade peak spirit range was far from enough for it. Despite all the hard work, Yemo was very happy that he got the bitter bamboo. As for the black rock, Yemo didn't touch it. He felt it wasn't simple, but it was just like the World Mountain. He didn't have the capability to study it. Once he was a hollow spirit state, he would be able to take it out and see. Yemo left the golden page world. He wanted to dig some more black rocks and sent them inside his golden page world. He felt the black rock on the World Mountain was definitely something good, so precious that he didn't dare to imagine. When Yemo came to the hole where the bitter bamboo used to be and cut with his mist lotus heart fire, he found that no matter what he did, it didn't leave any marks at all. Yemo realized that the reason he was able to burn the rock was not because his heaven flame was powerful, but because the bitter bamboo was here. Without a doubt, he wouldn't be able to burn the black rock in his golden page world. Yemo shook his head and wasn't too disappointed. He thought, what if a powerful being could spirit control the World Mountain? Who would be a match for him? Could he? Yemo asked himself, and then immediately shook his head. He was sure that even truth realization state, peak cultivators, weren't able to spirit control the World Mountain. Only a true immortal could. But how could a real immortal come to the Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds? Yemo cast those thoughts aside What he should be worrying about was how to get off the mountain. Yi Emo scanned his spirit sense down the world mountain and was shocked to find that the black lightning had all disappeared. What was in front of him was just a very ordinary black mountain. It must have something to do with the bitter bamboo being moved away. He needed to use this opportunity to get down the mountain. Who knew if that black lightning would come back? Suddenly, he felt the mountain shake as though something was being brought up, and he couldn't resist at all. Yi Emo felt himself fall from the high sky. He quickly released Zisu before being able to regain his balance. He scanned his spirit sense out to see what happened, but the scene he saw was devastating. The world mountain had left the ground and started flipping around in the air. Suddenly, it was covered by endless black clouds and devoured. Yi Emo looked down, only to see a boundless, deep trench below him. Before he could look at this, two figures started rapidly coming towards him. Chapter 1058. That was just a warm-up? Chapter 1058. That was just a warm-up. Yi Emo was speechless when he saw who had arrived. Truth Fall Palace was so big and there were so many people here, but he happened to know both of the people who came. One was Yi Pandai and the other was Wu Yu from Eternity Sea Sect. Yi Emo had conflict with Wu Yu before over Chengnana, but while in the Truth Fall Palace he couldn't really attack Yi Emo. But clearly Wu Yu was hunting down Yi Pandai now. Wu Yu was only from a 7-star sect, but for some reason he dared to hunt someone from an 8-star sect. At this moment, Yi Pandai had messy hair as well as wounds all over her body. There was blood on her chest. Seeing these two, Yi Emo immediately showed his power to be nascent soul state level 3. If people knew he had gone from nascent soul state level 3 to level 4 in such a short time, he would be noticed. Yi Pandai and Wu Yu were dazed upon seeing Yi Emo. Clearly, they didn't expect to see him here. "It's you," Yi Pandai subconsciously said, but immediately realized she had brought trouble to Yi Emo. Wu Yu was nascent soul state level 7 and ranked 267 on the trial tablet. Wu Yu saw Yi Emo and laughed. He didn't think his luck was this good. He had been wanting to kill Ning Xiaoma, and now he had run into him. "What are you doing here?" "This is the Black Lightning area." Yi Pandai suddenly paused. She wanted to use the Black Lightning to escape from Wu Yu, but she didn't see any Black Lightning here. "You have so many people from your sect. Why are you still alone and being hunted?" Yi Emo asked. He had seen a nascent soul state level 8 and level 4 with her before. Yi Pandai glanced coldly at Yi Emo and said, "This has nothing to do with you. Go. This is between me and Wu Yu." Yi Emo smiled. If it was someone else, he would really want to leave, but he had promised Chengnana that he would kill this Wu Yu. "You want to go?" "Ning, I can only say you're unlucky to meet me. If I let you go, I wouldn't need to cultivate anymore," Wu Yu sneered. Yi Pandai looked at Yi Emo in confusion. "You have a feud with him?" Yi Emo nodded and glanced at Yi Pandai, who was in a mess. "That's right. I have a feud with him. This has nothing to do with you. Go first. I need to get revenge from him." Yi Pandai frowned and said, "Even though you're nascent soul state level 3, do you think you're a match for this Wu? He's already nascent soul state level 7 and ranked 267 on the trial tablet." Yi Emo sneered. He killed a nascent soul state trial tablet ranked 219 when he was only nascent soul state level 3. But now that he was nascent soul state level 4, he would be able to kill Wu Yu effortlessly. "Haha, since you're both here, none of you need to leave. Yi Pandai, if you give me the soft water spirit bead, you can go. We're both sect members from big sections. However, I must kill this person." Wu Yu glared coldly at Yi Emo soft water spirit bead. That was something good. It could help cultivators go quickly into stasis and clear their mind. It had a minor bit of the bitter bamboo's effect, but it could greatly improve one's spirit sense after consistent use. As a level 10 material, it could also be used in forgery. Even a forgery master who wasn't good, could make cultivation artifacts with this. Yemo didn't think there would be such good thing in the Truth Fall Palace forbidden grounds, and Pandai got it. If Pandai hadn't helped him before, he might even rob it from her. Pandai looked at Wu Yu and knew that she and Yemo combined were no match for Wu Yu. Understanding this, Pandai grit her teeth and said, "I can give it to you, but you must let me go." Wu Yu laughed and raised his fan. Before he could say anything, Yemo said, "Miss I will hold him here, and you quickly go report to your sect. This way, you might be able to save me. Otherwise, we will both die." She didn't like Yemo calling her Miss but she still shook her head without hesitation. "You're no match for him. If we're going to fight, let's fight together." Yemo didn't expect Pandai to have such a sense of righteousness. He just wanted to get her away and then kill Wu Yu. Yemo could only say, "Miss do you think Wu Yu would let you go after you give him the soft water spirit bead?" Pandai subconsciously shook her head. She was from the Heaven Star sect. If he let go of her, her sect would go to eternity, see sect for reparations. Yemo asked again, "Then do you think we would be a match for him if we attacked together?" Pandai again shook her head without hesitation. Yemo clapped his hands. "That's right. I'll distract him and you go call for help. That way, you might really be able to save me. Otherwise, we will both die." Wu Yu sneered and raised up a few bleak cultivation essence walls, wanting to capture Pandai and Yemo inside. Yemo saw that Pandai didn't move and could only let Wu Yu swoop him in. Helplessly, he could only release a long sword. "I will distract him, you go call for help." Pandai thought that she brought Wu Yu here. It wasn't right for her to run off. Yemo cursed. "Are you an idiot? Can I get help? If you want me to die, just say it. Don't use such a bullshit excuse." Pandai thought about it and realized Yemo was right. No one liked Yemo outside. It'd be strange if he could get help. If she left, perhaps she could get help from her sect's people. Suddenly, Pandai felt the frosty chi of Wu Yu instantly bind her cultivation essence, and another bleak wind struck her dantian. Pandai spat out another mouthful of blood. Yemo sneered. He let this woman suffer on purpose. Otherwise, Wu Yu would never be able to injure her in front of him. Yemo knew it was time to let her go. His long sword brought countless sword rays as he used illusion cloud division strike. The difference in power was huge when using Zisu, but the sword rays existed and grew in number rapidly. Wu Yu, who had been taking it easy, felt mounting pressure. Wu Yu was shocked. This was completely outside of his expectation. Even Pandai was dazed after being freed. She felt Yemo had the upper hand and stood on the side. Yemo saw this and yelled, "Are you dumb? That's my strongest move. I can't last for long. If you still won't go, then let's die together." Pandai realized Yemo's predicament. He was only nascent soul state, primary stage. He had no other choice but to use his strongest move to hold Wu Yu there. Thinking about this, she released her flying sword and dashed away. "Hold on a bit longer. I'll get help immediately." Wu Yu was beginning to worry, but hearing that Yemo wouldn't be able to last long, he immediately felt secure. But now that Pandai was leaving, he was still nervous. He quickly took back his fan and weaved more hand signs. Bleak chi grew out of his body that seemed like living ropes. Wanting to bind Yemo, Yemo sneered. He took back the flying sword that was emitting sword rays and brought out a faint purple sword. He then looked at Wu Yu in contempt. "That was just my warm-up. This is my first strike." Chapter 1059, Real Treasure. Chapter 1059. Real treasure. Wu Yu saw this and rejoiced. He thought that if Yemo didn't take back the flying sword, he would need to exert some effort to annihilate the sword rays. But this guy was an idiot and used an ordinary kitchen knife. "Take my strike." Su brought very long purple sword rays and hacked outwards. Countless whirlpool sword rays formed from around it, sealing Wu Yu's exit off. The dense, bleak qi was melted away by the purple sword rays like the scorching sun. Wu Yu felt his cultivation essence weaken, and was shocked to find that the bleak qi which his spirit sense was attached to had completely disappeared. Before he could do anything, the purple kitchen knife appeared before his eyes. Wu Yu immediately began to worry. He even felt that he wasn't able to break free from the purple sword ray surrounding him, much less face this huge purple sword. At this moment, Wu Yu realized that this Ning Xiaoma wasn't as ordinary as he looked. Without hesitation, his fan exploded. Even Yi Mo didn't expect this move. After the explosion, an extremely putrid smell wafted out. Even Yi Mo had to retreat. It was too disgusting. He even felt some dizziness. There must be some really strong poison inside. Yi Mo used his cultivation essence and refined the poison. But Wu Yu used that brief moment to escape like a shooting star enveloped in frost qi. Clearly, he felt that after the brief clash, he was no match for Yi Mo, despite not using a lot of his other moves. Seeing that frost qi flow about to disappear, Yi Mo hacked out with Su again, and the sword qi in the distance gathered again. They seemed to be alive and turned around, stopping the frosty qi flow that Wu Yu turned into. That frosty qi flow materialized into Wu Yu again, but his face was pale. What sword technique is this? It can gather a dissipated sword ray? Wu Yu asked. Illusion cloud exert will strike, Yi Mo sneered. How could he let this guy run? He didn't take back the dispersed sword qi before to prevent Wu Yu from escaping. He didn't expect to actually have to use it. If he wasn't prepared, Wu Yu would have really gotten away. Your nascent soul state tertiary stage, not nascent soul state level 3. Wu's fan had broken, and now he released another extreme grade spirit artifact flying sword. Yi Mo didn't say anything. The reason he didn't kill Wu Yu was because he wanted to ask him a question. Wu Yu said, I'm the core disciple of Eternity C sect, ranked 267 on the Nascent Soul State trial tablet. If you kill me, you will be forever hunted by the Eternity C sect. Yi Mo sneered. Rank 267 doesn't mean shit. There was a rank 219 Lu Jianqiang, and I killed him. Why would I care about a trash like you? You killed Lu Jianqiang. Wu Yu was shocked. Although he was ranked 267, he knew that he was no match for Lu Jianqiang at all. If Lu Jianqiang wanted to kill him, it would be very easy. He didn't expect that demon cultivator Lu Jianqiang to be killed by this Ning Xiaoma. He finally understood why Ning Xiaoma said, Don't let me meet you as well. I've really never heard of the Eternity C sect, so don't threaten me with that. I just want to ask who took in Changnana. Yi Mo asked calmly. Wu Yu heard this and immediately blurted out, Brother Ning, if you want to go after Changnana, I can get it done for you, I promise. Yi Mo slapped him twice in the face after seeing that Wu Yu was still trying to be smart. Before Wu Yu said anything, Yi Mo asked again, There was a man with Changnana. Did your sect send people to kill him? Wu Yu felt insulted by this, but he unconsciously answered, I don't know, I didn't go taking disciples, and I wouldn't be interested in small people like that. Yi Mo was sure that Wu Yu didn't know anything. So before he begged for mercy, Yi Mo just sent a tongue of heaven flame over. After killing Wu Yu, Yi Mo left. He wasn't going to wait for that Yi Pandai. Yi Mo had been gone for long, while before Yi Pandai retuned in desperation. But unfortunately, she saw nothing but a huge hole. She had looked around for a long time before and sent out many messages. But the Truthfall Palace Forbidden Grounds was too big and she wasn't able to find any help. In her desperation, she came back, but she found that both Wu Yu and Yi Mo was gone. Yi Pandai fell silent, although she didn't even know Ning Xiaoma before and only gave him a jade slip to apologize. She was sure that Ning Xiaoma wouldn't be dead if it wasn't for her. Don't worry, I will kill Wu Yu and get revenge for you. Yi Pandai looked at the huge hole and murmured. At this moment, Yimo was 10,000 kilometers from where the World Mountain was. He chose the opposite direction from which Yi Pandai left. It was best if he never saw her again, because if he met her, she would know that he killed Wu Yu. He even took off stealth sand. He had decided that from now on, Ning Xiaoma would disappear forever. As for the Han Liang Empire's two nascent soul state cultivators, sorry, he won't be able to help them. As for Mou City, with Su Changji there, Yimo was sure that no one dared to touch it. Now, it was safer to use his original face, as rarely anyone had seen his face here. A day later, Yimo found another half-extreme grade star sand and realized why there were so many people wanting to come in the Truthfall Palace Forbidden Grounds. This material was not only a necessity for setting up long-distance teleportation formations, but was also the perfect material to forge space-related magic artifacts. Just with this block, he would even be able to trade for the pills used by Disaster, Transformation State, and Truth, Realization State cultivators. But even if he didn't get anything, he was happier than ever to be able to get the bitter bamboo. Perhaps he could go search for some more treasure before he went out. The World Mountain had gone, and so had the black lightning. The space wind blades and space chaos flow didn't pose much of a threat to him. When Yimo was looking around, he suddenly smelled a faint aroma. It was very unique and made him feel very fresh and comfortable. He even had the feeling that just smelling this increased his power. This was definitely something good, and this aroma spread so far that even his spirit sense couldn't scan where the aroma was coming from. He immediately flew towards where the aroma came from. 2 hours later, he arrived and saw what the thing was. Even with the golden page world and bitter bamboo, he felt his heart beating rapidly. It was a colorful lotus, a lotus with 9 colors. 9-color lotus. Although the bitter bamboo was much more precious than the 9-color lotus, the 9-color lotus was something he could use now. Even though he had the 5-color lotus, it didn't mean it could turn into the 9-color lotus. Even if it could, who knew how long it would take? The 9-color lotus could be used to concoct the 9-wind pill. It was a pill that could purify spirit roots and was a legendary itself, just like the lotus. The 9-color lotus was floating in a clear pond full of spirit chi emitted from the flower. People kept coming over due to the aroma, and soon the pond was filled with cultivators. Chapter 1060. Ning Xiaoma knows how to trick girls. Chapter 1060. Ning Xiaoma knows how to trick girls, although many people wanted to charge up. No one dared to because everyone knew that the first to go up would die. Even Yi and Mo didn't dare to go up. The cultivators around the pond became more and more impatient. At this moment, a nascent soul state level 9 suddenly came out and said, "Everyone calm down, hear me out." He clearly had some reputation, as many cultivators calmed down. Yi Mo asked a cultivator next to him, quietly, "Who is this guy?" The cultivator looked at Yi Mo in confusion. How did Yi Mo not even know this guy? In the end, he still replied, "He's 8-star rain pill sex Lao Shi, a level 2 pill king." Yi Mo thought, no wonder he was so respected. Cultivators didn't want to offend pill masters the most, especially a level 2 pill king. Lao, she continued, "The 9-color lotus is about to mature. Everyone knows its properties. I don't need to say it, but there's only one. Even if we fight till the death, only one person can get it. I have a way that everyone can benefit from." He understood what Lao Shi meant. He wanted the 9-color lotus to mature and melt into the spirit pond. "Pill King Lao, hurry up and say it. If it's beneficial to everyone, we will listen to you for sure," some cultivator called. Lao Shi nodded and continued. "It's rather hard for the 9-color lotus to mature. It would take countless years and a special environment. The lotus could mature here, so it clearly has something to do with the pond. If I'm not wrong, this should be a spirit pond." The reason nobody noticed is because most of the spirit chi is supplied to the 9-color lotus. I can tell everyone some very good news. If the 9-color lotus isn't picked out when mature in a spirit pond, it melts into the spirit pond, automatically returning all the spirit chi it absorbed back to the spirit pond. It also returns its medical properties to the spirit pond. If we go into the spirit pond to cultivate, there won't be much difference compared to eating the 9-wind pill. Yi Mo knew that Lao Shi was telling the truth. Another cultivator stood out and said, "I'm a pill master too, and Pill King Lao's words are true. I can vouch for them." With so many masters here, no one could be sure they could get the 9-color lotus. So as soon as Lao Shi said this, everyone fell silent, agreeing to his words. Even if someone got the 9-color lotus, they wouldn't be able to escape. Yi Mo really wanted to take the pond water. Since it could nourish a 9-color lotus, it would be beneficial to his 5-color lotus. He couldn't do anything yet with so many people here and could only wait till the 9-color lotus matured before going in to take action. As the aroma the lotus emitted grew stronger and stronger, more and more cultivators appeared. After learning the situation, they all stood by the side of the pond. Yi Mo saw a few cultivators wearing the dark ice sex uniform and really wanted to go up and talk, but he eventually stopped himself. Soon, a few more figures came. This time, they were the nuns from Clear Dream Mosque. Ling Xiaoshuang was amongst them. He felt her chi had changed. She probably got something good. The Heaven Star sex cultivators also came. Ipandai looked around as though searching for someone, but she was soon disappointed. She didn't see Emo or Wu Yu. Ipandai walked up to Ling Xiaoshuang and asked quietly, "Martial Sister Xiaoshang, I want to ask you something." Ling Xiaoshuang looked at Ipandai and said, "Martial Sister Pandai, if there's anything just ask me. I'll tell you if I know." Ipandai hesitated before saying, "I want to ask you about Martial Brother Xiaoma." Huh. Ling Xiaoshuang was surprised at Ipandai. She really didn't understand why Ipandai was using such an intimate greeting for Ning Xiaoma. Didn't she want to kill him before? She suddenly thought about her Qing Han martial sisters and subconsciously shivered. Who was Ning Xiaoma? How was he so good at getting girls? She must investigate if this person was really cultivating some demonic cultivation method that seduced girls. She would get her master to help kill Ning Xiaoma. She remembered that Ipandai was waiting for a reply and said, "I only saw him harassing a female cultivator once and had some impression of him. Martial Sister Pandai, he's definitely not a proper cultivator. I suspect he has some untoward means towards female cultivators. You need to be careful." Ipandai frowned. Ling Xiaoshuang had misunderstood her. She didn't have any feelings for Ning Xiaoma. She just wanted to know who he was, and if he had some unfinished business, she could help him finish. After all, he had died helping her. But Ling Xiaoshuang said this for her own good, so she couldn't really say much and just thanked her before leaving. Ling Xiaoshuang saw this and frowned, beginning to worry more and more. At this moment, another nascent soul state, tertiary stage, cultivator flew over and saw the 9-color lotus in the middle of the pond. Without hesitation, he just dashed up, wanting to take it. Immediately, the banks of the pond ignited. No one wanted to wait for the 9-color lotus to melt inside. Everyone charged towards it. At this moment, all sorts of magic artifacts clashed, sword rays, sword chi, flames, ice arrows. Everything. Howls of pain sounded. But these fights only happened around the lotus. If any cultivator neared the lotus, he would immediately be attacked by everyone. In this short time, nearly 100 cultivators died in the battle. Lao Shi was trying desperately to get everyone to stop. But once started, it was impossible to contain. Eventually, even Lao Shi charged up with red eyes. If he didn't go in, he wouldn't even get the rim of the lotus. Yi Mo also charged up, but he didn't try to take the lotus. He knew he didn't fear anyone one-on-one, but there were too many nascent soul state level 8 and level 9 cultivators. He wasn't able to get it. He just wanted the pond's water. So, he just charged into the pond and kept moving the water into his golden page world. The water decreased, but everyone was in a frenzy for the 9-color lotus. No one noticed this. "It's melting," someone called. The 9-color lotus was gone, and the previously clear pond was 9-colored now. "The water has decreased a lot," someone noticed. Someone was taking the pond water. Almost everyone understood this, and more people joined EMO in becoming a water pump. With this, the pond water depleted rapidly. Some people knew that the 9-color spirit chi wasn't able to be taken away, so they sat above the pond absorbing it. Some people who didn't know sunk into the pond water to cultivate. But soon, everyone realized it was much more effective to cultivate above the pond than in it. The scene quickly fell silent as though the battle had never occurred. Everyone knew how precious this opportunity was. This was probably the only time in their life they would encounter this. Yi-Mo saw that the 9 colors were gradually disappearing from the pond water and knew it was being used up quickly. He didn't take any more pond water as he had taken more than half of it. This should be enough for the 5-color lotus. Although only a small part of the 9-color lotus was shared by the cultivators, a lot of them still received a significant upgrade to their spirit root. This meant that they could reach higher states in the future. Some cultivators who were attacked in the fight were about to get revenge, but they saw the white light pillars begin to flash. Everyone knew that the forbidden ground was about to close. Chapter 1061. The Anger of Seeing Someone You Know. Chapter 1061. The anger of seeing someone you know. All the cultivators were teleported out of the forbidden grounds and back to Truth Fall Palace Level 4. Yi-Mo saw about 600 go in. With the people who came in later, there were about 1,000 people in all, but he only saw about 300 cultivators come out. The Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds wasn't as lethal as Guichifan said, but quite a lot of cultivators still died. But Yi-Mo also knew that those cultivators who went in were rather high-powered. At the same time, he knew that even if going in had nothing to do with immortal ascension, those who went in would have a much better chance of immortal ascension. Yi-Mo saw Pandai looking around and didn't dare to stay. He immediately dashed away. Many other cultivators also left quickly. Yi-Mo flew away a long distance before realizing that the 2 hollow spirit state cultivators who went in first never seemed to have come out. But this thought just flashed through his mind. It didn't concern him if they came out. He had got what he wanted. After Yi-Mo left, he were 9 transformations again. He didn't want to accidentally kill a big sect member and get hunted down. There were much more high-level spirit herbs at level 4 than below. Yi-Mo collected all he could. He had gotten the bitter bamboo. The next important thing was to gather spirit herb and materials. Yi-Mo was scared that time was short, so after spending some time at level 4, he came to the entrance to level 5. He more than 1,000 cultivators hesitating here, not sure whether to go up or to stay. Yi-Mo understood their struggle. Spirit herbs appeared the most at level 5, but the most cultivator deaths also occurred on the staircase to level 5. Regardless, he was going to go up. Just when he walked to the staircase, he heard a howl of pain, and a cultivator who was unable to deal with the pressure on the stairs was crushed into nothingness. Despite this, 10 cultivators still went up. Everyone knew that level 5 was a yardstick. The real good items could only be found in level 5. Yi-Mo saw that there were 2 nascent soul state and 8 golden core states who went up. Although his spirit sense couldn't scan to the top of the stairway, he heard 5 cries, and before those could even die down, 2 more sounded. 7 of the 10 died already, but the remaining 3 seemed to have reached level 5. Some cultivators who saw this started to leave, but even more people stayed here. Just when Yi-Mo wanted to up, he saw Gu Wei, who was hesitating. He didn't expect Gu Wei to be able to get here. He was only a golden core state, level 8 cultivator, and rarely spoke. Yi Mo knew that he probably wouldn't be going back to the Hanliang Empire. It was good to let him bring a message to Gulian and Yu Shanping. Thinking about this, Yi Mo walked to Gu Wei. Gu Wei saw this and was shook. A nascent soul state cultivator was walking towards him. A mere golden core state cultivator. This made him uneasy. Yi Mo pretended to take out a jade slip before looking at Gu Wei and asking, "Are you Gu Wei from the Hanliang Empire?" Gu Wei looked at Yi Mo anxiously and answered, "Yes, Qianbei. I'm Gu Wei from the Hanliang Empire." Yi Mo nodded. "Yi Mo, who came with you, died in the Forbidden Grounds and asked me to give you this before he died." Then he gave 3 bottles to Gu Wei. "This is a soul condensation pill. Yi Mo said it was for you, asking you to take care of Mou City a little. The other 2 pills are for you, Shanping and Gulian. Give it to them. By the way, he said that if I found you, I should tell you not to go up anymore." The other 2 bottles contained 2 soul essence pills each. Gu Wei wasn't shocked that Yi Mo died, but he was shocked that Yi Mo gave him a soul condensation pill before he died. But perhaps Yi Mo had realized he was dying, and these things were of no use to him. He might as well give them away and get someone to look after his Mou City. Realizing this, Gu Wei took the things and bowed to Yi Mo. "Thank you, Qianbei, for helping Yi Qianbei bring his last message. I will remember it. May I ask what your name is, Qianbei?" Yi Mo waved his hand. "No need to remember me. My target is Truthfall Palace level 6. Perhaps I have no chance of coming out, so it's lucky that I found you." Then Yi Mo sighed and said, "I'm Fu Rong. I'm very good friends with Yi Mo, but Yi Mo sigh." Then Yi Mo waved his hand to Gu Wei and said, "I'm going up. Take care." Then Yi Mo turned to leave and disappeared at the stairs. He was sure that Gu Wei wasn't going to try for level 5 after getting the soul condensation pills. Golden core state cultivators stake their lives to get to level 5, just for a chance to reach nascent soul state. But now that he got what he wanted, Yi Mo didn't believe that Gu Wei would still risk his life. Yi Mo was right. Gu Wei left this place quickly and went somewhere to hide. Yi Mo dashed up the stairs without hesitation, and this encouraged more people to go up. No one noticed Gu Wei leaving at all. Arriving at level 5, Yi Mo immediately noticed the completely different spirit chi. It was as though someone had set up a spirit gathering formation here. Yi Mo also saw 2 level 4 Zhou Huan flowers as soon as he came out. There were so many more spirit herbs compared to level 4. Yi Mo was thinking, won't there be even more at level 6? But Yi Mo also knew that he spent a lot of time at the Forbidden Grounds before. He needed to be faster or time would be up before he got to the top. Yi Mo found large amounts of level 5 and even level 6 herbs at level 5 of the Truthfall Palace. There weren't a lot of cultivators who could come up here, so Yi Mo wasn't going to fight over spirit herbs with people unless he really needed them. He even found 3 purple-back blue carrots here. At the same time, Yi Mo sighed. Without the Truthfall Palace, it would be really hard for so many high-level spirit herbs to appear in the cultivation realm. Another patch of more than 10 mist Jilan appeared before him. It was just a level 5 spirit herb, but Yi Mo didn't mind having more. There was only a level 5 cow beast guarding them. Just when Yi Mo wanted to take out the beast and collect the mist Jilans, 2 nascent soul states were walking over happily. Yi Mo scanned them with his spirit sense and didn't mind. It was just a man and a woman. But the next moment, Yi Mo let go off the mist Jilan and stared at the 2 with shaking hands. The male cultivator's face was pale, but even if he turned to ash, Yi Mo would recognize it. It was the young master of the West Flow sect, Jing Yuzhen. He and Luo Ying were hunted. The magical herb sect was annihilated, all because Jing Yuzhen had lusted after Luo Ying's beauty and wanted to force her to marry him. Luo Ying rejected him, and the magical herb sect didn't succumb just because West Flow sect was a 5-star sect. Eventually, the sect leader of the West Flow sect, Jing Kuin, annihilated the sect. If it wasn't due to a special occurrence, he and Luo Ying would have died already. This Jing Yuzhen was the main culprit. How could Yi Mo not be angry seeing him? What shook Yi Mo even more was that the woman next to him was a cultivator from the magical herb sect. Strictly speaking, she was his martial uncle. She was Luo Ying's martial sister, Lu Manxiang. Yi Mo didn't expect the two to be so close. Chapter 1062 Reason for Sect Annihilation. Chapter 1062 Reason for Sect Annihilation. It's the Mist Jilan. There's quite a lot, more than 10 plants. Lu Manxiang and Jing Yuzhen had clearly already seen the spirit herbs. Lu Manxiang saying this was a subtle question, asking Jing Yuzhen if they should take them. Jing Yuzhen looked at Yi Mo and nodded to Lu Manxiang. Clearly Yi Mo was only nascent soul state level 4, and that was nothing to him. He was nascent soul state level 5, and Lu Manxiang was nascent soul state level 1. They didn't need to worry about Yi Mo at all. But clearly, he didn't intend to forcefully take them. He looked at Yi Mo and asked, "Friend, how about we kill the bull together and split the Mist Jilan evenly?" A mere level 5 bull didn't need nascent soul state cultivators to fight it together. Even Lu Manxiang could kill it easily. Yi Mo's clenched fists were pale. Lines of blood appeared in the corners of his eyes. Yi Mo, who was about to explode, heard these words and calmed down instead. Since he had caught sight of Jing Yuzhen, there was no way he was going to let him go. He had to calm down and stop this guy from escaping. Otherwise, who knows how long it would take him to go to East Black State. Seeing Yi Mo not talk and just stare at him, Jing Yuzhen frowned. "I want the woman next to you. Give her to Daddy now. As for a trash like you..." Yi Mo scanned Lu Manxiang and sneered. As expected, before he even finished, Jing Yuzhen exploded. This guy was merely nascent soul state level 4, and he dared to try to take his woman. Jing Yuzhen, who was filled with anger, instantly charged up and attacked. He raised his hand, and 6 frosty flying swords were released. Yi Mo looked and saw it was a set of flying swords. Each one was an extreme grade spirit artifact. The combined power of the swords was on par with a low-grade cultivation artifact. The 6 flying swords sped through the air, forming a semicircle sword veil that completely enveloped Yi Mo. Lu Manxiang saw this, and a sliver of envy flashed across her eyes before she looked coldly at Yi Mo. Jing Yuzhen's power was all based on this set of flying swords. They could also bind enemies, as once they formed a sword veil, the cultivator inside would be trapped. When Jing Yuzhen had completely enveloped Yi Mo with the sword veil, his fury calmed down a little. He even suspected the opponent knew him. Otherwise, how would he know that he would take out his killing move at all cost in anger? If it was some other cultivator, Yi Mo wouldn't lower himself to use such means, but the feud between him and Jing Yuzhen was too great. Before, Jing Yuzhen was only nascent soul state level 1 and was propped up using pills, but it had only been a few decades and he was already nascent soul state level 5. This made Yi Mo a little worried. Anything could happen in the cultivation realm. He, for example, was only an ordinary person before, but now he could instantly kill people of the same cultivation level. He didn't dare to underestimate Jing Yuzhen at all, because he must not let this person escape, no matter what. But when Yi Mo saw Jing Yuzhen attack, he shook his head. Jing Yuzhen was indeed propped up with pills. Yi Mo knew that this guy completely relied on this set of flying swords. His own cultivation essence and spirit sense were nothing. Even if Fu Rong was here, Yi Mo believed he would be able to escape. Before the flying sword veil could swoop over, he released Zisu. If it was against someone like Wu Yu, he might use illusion cloud essence binding strike, but the difference here was too great. Yi Mo used illusion cloud whirlpool strike, and the sword veil seemed like a rag that was cut through by thousands of sharp swords and disappeared. With a clank, the 6 flying swords were swept away by the purple sword rays. Even the owner of the flying swords couldn't control them. Jing Yuzhen looked sluggishly at this, and before he could react, a purple ray hacked towards his dantian. A blood arrow shot out as a gash appeared on his body, and a terrified nascent soul was hacked out. As soon as the nascent soul state escaped, it was pulverized by Yi Mo's purple sword rays. Jing Yuzhen looked dazedly at Yi Mo. If it didn't happen right before his eyes, he wouldn't believe that a nascent soul state level 5 couldn't even last 3 moves in front of a nascent soul state level 4. The loss of his nascent soul state meant that he lost all his power. Yu. Jing Yuzhen didn't know what to say. There was no point begging for mercy or threatening. At this moment, he hated Lu Manxiang the most. If it wasn't for this woman, he wouldn't even care about these Miss Jilan. But now, disaster struck just because of a few mere level 5 spirit herbs. Lu Manxiang didn't know this, but even if she knew, she couldn't care. She looked at Yi Mo in terror. If he destroyed Jing Yuzhen's nascent soul so easily, he would be able to finish her just as easily. She subconsciously wanted to retreat, but saw Yi Mo glare at her coldly. If you dare to move back half a step, I will cut you. Lu Manxiang shivered and didn't dare to retreat at all. Her face was pale as she tried desperately to think a way out of this situation. Yi Mo ignored Lu Manxiang and jeered at Jing Yuzhen. Your power is climbing quickly. When I first saw you, you were only nascent soul state level 1, but now you're nascent soul state level 5. Pity, it's artificially increased by your dad's pills. I really don't get how a trash like you could crawl to the 5th floor. You know me? Jing Yuzhen just realized that this man knew him. So that means he wasn't killing him for the woman and the spirit herbs. Big brother, I'm willing to stay with you. I've long been sick of this Jing. If Big Brother is willing, I'll immediately. Lu Manxiang resisted the fear in her heart and forced a seductive look. She waved her hand and her clothes just fell off a little, showing a large amount of snow-white skin. Jing Yuzhen was a trash person, but seeing his woman trying to seduce another man, he spat out another mouthful of blood. Yi Mo didn't even look at Lu Manxiang and stared at Jing Yuzhen. Jing, my master Luoing never went out. How do you know about her? You're from Magical Herb Sect. Jing Yuzhen stared at Yi Mo in shock. He finally understood why Yi Mo hated him so much and wanted to kill him. Yi Mo still didn't understand why the West Flow Sect would annihilate the Magic Herb Sect for his master Luoing. That was sect annihilation. Finally realizing why Yi Mo was going to kill him, Jing Yuzhen pointed at Lu Manxiang hatefully and said, "It's her, this bitch. She came to our sect and told my father that the Magical Herb Sect got a herb cauldron that can let spirit pill masters concoct heaven-grade pills. She told me that Luoing of the sect is extremely beautiful and even brought a painting of her. You're lying. Your father wanted the cauldron of the Magical Herb Sect, and you lusted after Marshall's sister Luoing. What has this got to do with me? In order to survive, I let you abuse me in the West Flow Sect, just so I could get revenge for the Magical Herb Sect. Today I finally have this chance." Lu Manxiang screamed. Although Yi Mo wore a mask, Lu Manxiang knew this person was Yi Mo. She really didn't understand how Yi Mo was here and how he had become so strong. "Ha, I lied." Jing Yuzhen was laughing. He knew he was dead. He said, "Lu Manxiang, you said the Magical Herb Sect has a cauldron, but in fact we only got a lid. We built the cauldron ourselves later. For a soul condensation pill. You betrayed your martial sister and your sect. Now you're betraying me too. I've finally seen through who you are." Lu Manxiang didn't let Jing Yuzhen continue speaking and released her flying sword, cutting Jing Yuzhen's head off. Yi Mo looked coldly at this shameless pair and didn't say anything. After Lu Manxiang killed Jing Yuzhen, She showed a sycophantic smile and said excitedly, "Martial brother Yemo, I didn't think you would be alive. This is great. Is Martial sister Luoing fine?" It was as though she was too excited to speak properly. Chapter 1063. Annihilating Harm from the Cultivation Realm. Chapter 1063. Annihilating Harm from the Cultivation Realm. We're from the same sect. If you like me, then take me, I'm willing. In fact, when we were at the Magical Herb Sect, I had feelings for you. Lu Manqiang's voice got quieter and quieter, and the clothes on her chest seemed to get looser and looser. More and more snow-white skin showed. Yi Emo looked coldly at her. Comparatively, Jing Yuzhin's words were more trustworthy. Yi Emo didn't know what sort of person Lu Manqiang was, but they were from the same sect. However, she definitely wasn't some woman who would bear insult to get revenge. It was more believable that Jing Yuzhin said she did things for a soul condensation pill. Seeing Yi Emo glare at her coldly, Lu Manqiang's tone became even more pitiful, as though she hadn't killed Jing Yuzhin just now. Then she turned around and bent over, saying, "Martial brother, I know you hate me. You can beat me." Then she raised her butt and even brought up her dress, showing pink underwear. Even Yemo's mouth was beginning to dry up. He had to admit that this woman really knew how to use her body without any shame. Suddenly, Yemo looked up at where Lu Manqiang and Jing Yuzhin had come from. There was the sound of clapping. "You live up to your reputation indeed. You like to do such things in the middle of the day on the side of the road. I admire you greatly." Yemo's eyes focused and saw the cultivator, who walked over and looked confused. He knew this guy was Yuan Guanan, but what did his words mean? Yuan Guanan was with Wen Sai. Why did he appear here alone? Soon, Yemo realized what Yuan Guanan meant. He probably recognized that he was Ning Xiaoma. Realizing this, Yemo felt a little cold. He used stealth and in 9 transformations just so people couldn't recognize him. But now this Yuan Guanan could recognize him. Didn't that mean that he knew all the faces he had? How did he do it? Yuan Guanan gazed at Lu Manqiang and stared at her, but with interest, as though enjoying the view. Lu Manqiang finally felt embarrassment and stood up, but didn't tidy up her clothes. "Martial sister, is this guy forcing you? If he is, just tell me and come be a witness with me," Yuan Guanan said with a serious face. I. Lu Manqiang's face was red, as though she was too embarrassed to say anything. Yemo sneered. If this woman was on Earth, she would have won quite a few Oscars. Yuan Guanan nodded amicably to Lu Manqiang and said to Yemo, "Ning Xiaoma, not bad. You went from nascent soul state level 3 to level 4 in such a short time. I think everyone underestimated you. You're not an ordinary cultivator." Then Yuan Guanan laughed. "But Ling Xiaoshuang was right about you. I can understand being lustful and shameless, but to this extent, it's the first time I've heard of it. Perhaps I need to help annihilate a menace from the cultivation realm." Yemo just held Zisu and didn't care about Yuan Guanan's words at all. He didn't believe this Yuan Guanan was noble enough to do something like that. He cared about the most how Yuan Guanan recognized him and how he found him. The reason he took out Zisu was because he wasn't planning on letting Yuan Guanan leave alive. He couldn't expose his identity, and Yuan Guanan knew him. But Yemo knew that Yuan Guanan wasn't so easy to kill. It wasn't that Yemo didn't think he could kill this man, but Yuan Guanan had a higher status than Tian Aofing. If he killed Yuan Guanan, this would cause more upheaval than killing Tian Aofing. Yemo wiped Zisu and said, "Yuan, there are no other people here, no need to talk big. There are lots of people wanting to be a bitch, and you're not the only one. You don't need to show your innocence to me. I know you have your purpose for keeping your eyes on me. If there's anything you want to know, I can tell you. But before this, I also have a question that I hope you can answer." Yuan Guanan laughed and said, "Regardless, you won't live to see it answered. But since you're bringing it up, I do have a few questions for you. You want to ask how I found you, right? Yi Mo said, Yes, how did you find me? Because as long as it's someone I've seen once, he will never get away from me no matter what magic artifact he uses, Yuan Guanan said pridefully. Yi Mo frowned. He didn't believe this. Even if Yuan Guanan had a special talent, could he see through stealth sand that even body condensation state cultivators couldn't see through? Seeing Yi Mo frown, Yuan Guanan knew that Yi Mo didn't believe him, but he didn't have to make Yi Mo believe him. He just asked, when everyone else was fighting over the 9-color lotus, you were taking the pond water. I believe you must have some massive dimensional magic artifact, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to collect so much water so rapidly. Yi Mo was shaken. He didn't think he would be exposed so casually. The scene was very messy, and yet Yuan Guanan had been watching him. Clearly, Yuan Guanan had been keeping an eye on him for a long time. This also meant that Yuan Guanan didn't lie. Yi Mo didn't reply. He knew that Yuan Guanan didn't tell him the complete truth either. He just released Zisu and said, Don't waste time. If you want to fight, hurry up. Haha. You think you can fight with me after reaching nascent soul state level 4? The insolent are brave indeed. I'll fulfill your wish then and annihilate a harm for the cultivation realm. Yuan Guanan lifted his hand and a huge octagonal cauldron appeared above his head. This was the first time Yi Mo saw a cultivator use a cauldron. The cauldron started spinning, bringing up a wind wall. But then, another ancient spear appeared in Yuan Guanan's hand. The spear was full of killing intent. Yi Mo knew that countless souls had died to this spear. It had a strong, bloody, and murderous sense. Yi Mo was sure that this spear didn't belong to Yuan Guanan to begin with. Yuan Guanan's spear tore through the air and smashed towards Yi Mo. The blood-killing qi seemed to have frozen the surrounding air. Lu Manxiang subconsciously shivered. She wanted to find an opportunity to escape when Yi Mo fought with this new cultivator because she had seen Yi Mo's power before, killing a nascent soul state level 5 like a chicken. And this new cultivator was also nascent soul state level 5. He must be no match for Yi Mo. But now that they fought, she felt she was wrong. The power of this nascent soul state level 5 was astounding. Even from this distance, she felt like she was getting ripped apart. It seemed Yi Mo might not be a match for this person. In that case, she didn't need to run away now. With their power, the fight would be heavenly shocking. She would find a better opportunity to run. As soon as Yuan Guanan's spear pierced the air, Yi Mo felt the blood in his chest rumble as though he was about to vomit. Before he could gasp at Yuan Guanan's cultivation essence, he felt the space around him slow down. When the spear formed countless spear shadows and locked the space around Yi Mo realized that this move was like his illusion cloud essence binding strike. Although this was far from space lockdown, Yi Mo knew it was beginning to show it. Clearly, Yuan Guanan didn't want to kill him too quickly. Yi Mo sneered. This Yuan Guanan thought of him as an ordinary nascent soul state level 4. Yi Mo hacked out with Zisu, and the purple sword rays broke the cultivation essence wall like paper mesh. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.